So you can see it like on some of his clips and some of the movies. If you go back on it, like he'll cut out. You might not see him like adjust his lace, but he'll shimmy his leg back and forth a little. So he's pulling his heel up, going in, knowing that he's going to do some sort of technique thing.
I approve waterboarding. They're talking about wakeboarding. The thing about wakeboarding, every trick is an invert.
Backside.
Air railing.
A new dimension.
All right, we are back. Another episode of the Grab Matters podcast. Today we welcome on a very special guest. Very, very special guest, Derek Cook. Let's kick it off first with favorite grab.
Any grab grabbed correctly, to me, looks good. Favorite grab personally, definitely changed over time, but a truck driver grab would be my favorite that I've been doing as of lately. So,
dang, truck driver. Okay, and that's hand or arm through the handle? Full situation?
Arm through the handle, and I always do it with like a switch back 180.
Oh, damn. Okay, so that's not even straight up. You're going back.
I can't do it straight up.
Really?
Well, actually, I can do heel side, like shifty ones, but it's always back arm through handle, 180 into it, truck driver.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the go-to now.
Yeah.
The truck driver. Any others that are like throughout the years that were favorites?
I mean, I've had a few good methods that felt great. That one, it either feels really good or it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like I guess just having some spins involved with my grabs have always been a part of it. Like just a straight grab, I guess, is hard to
pinpoint one. Yeah.
Yeah, like I used to do these big I guess mute shifties.
Yes,
so you go,
to the
mute
flats.
shifty,
Oh yeah.
shaft. So yeah, I can come back on it. So
yeah, I'm picturing a couple of those. Okay, so you mentioned method. So you said you've had a few good methods over the years, and you've been wakeboarding for decades.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you've only had a few like solid methods that you're like, all right, I'm proud of that one?
I can think of three.
Over that many years.
Yeah.
Oh my. That just shows that I think the method is I think if you put the respect on the method, which I'm sure you do, where it's like it's gotta look how I want it to look.
Yeah.
Then you don't have it's not a thing you go out and do every day casually and it's like, yeah, that was easy.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely do them like almost every set, but there's a few that have stood out where I'm like, all right, that was the one right there.
Which ones come to mind? Do you remember?
One of them being toe side method. So I do arm through handle, come in, toe side method, and then just drop out of it regular. I shot one method with a photo with Jason Lee, like maybe 08 or something. He was in a tube. That one came out really sick. And I had one web edit that I did with Trever where I did method and just heel side method. I believe it was arm through handle. And then my back arm was just kind of like hanging out the back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are the three that come to mind. Sick. All right. You know what? Speaking of Trever, let's just dive into the guest question from Trever. So I tapped into Trever for this one. He sent it over last night.
Cooksy, super pumped to have you on Grab Matters, man. I've been looking forward to this episode for a long time. Stoked. All right, I got two questions for you. First one is, rumors have it there's still a floating kicker out there in Disco Bay. Tell me a little bit about it and what it was for and all that stuff. Second question is, I want to know how fast the fastest photo shoot you ever did was. It might be record setting. I don't know. Walk me through it. And yeah, man, again, super pumped to hear this podcast. And yeah, man, shout out, Grab Matters. You.
Two-parter there.
Yeah, nice job.
The kicker and disco, what's up with that?
We made a floating kicker just to have a kicker for getting into different objects and not necessarily like winching, but just there was I think like a watershed I wanted to like get up to wall ride. That one never panned out. That was the original idea for the kicker. And then we were filming a section for Fox. It was called NorCal Crew. So I started dragging this kicker all around the Delta. We'd just like bring it out, have it in the toolies, like hide it somewhere, and then set it up for what we were doing, and then we'd leave it there. So one of the shots was I kind of made like this hangman type thing and hung.
This is the parking cone situation?
Yeah, I think it was the parking cone.
That was sick.
Yeah, so I hung the parking cone. I was like, oh, I want to get up, jib the thing, and then I think I did like a 5 out of it. So it was kind of it was a couple mile like drive by boat in this like kind of area. So we did the thing, and then we went to go get it the next day, and it was just gone. And we're like, all right, like it's just gone. Like, okay.
Was it anchored or on the shore?
Yeah.
Like...
So we like kind of jammed it in the tulies and the weeds, and then threw some anchors. And we're like, oh, it'll be there. And it was there for like maybe a month or so.
Oh, okay.
And we were back and forth using it, grabbing it for different things. And then this was like probably like beginning of summer where we had this kicker. And then into summer, we're on like the boulevard right in front of Discovery Bay where all the houses are. And this kicker just comes floating down the Delta, which Delta's tidal, so it's moving back and forth. So just out of nowhere, we're just out there like for a ride, and we're like, here comes our kicker. like gone for 3 months in perfect condition. We're like, all right.
Oh, it was still mint. It wasn't all
it was
banged up.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we started at a buddy's house just on a dock there, and then it lasted on the Delta for 5 or 6 years.
That's
just, like,
a good
hanging
kicker.
around. Yeah, and people would like tow it out, grab it, like do different things with it. I used it in a line during dog days.
Oh yeah, we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah,
that
so
was sick.
Just like threw it off to the side. I'm like, oh, I want to put this line down, and then like have it where I cut out. Looks like I'm just coming in for another hit, and boom, kicker hit out. So, yeah, that's the kicker.
Damn. Okay, that's sick. I mean, we'll talk about dog days in that line specifically because I was watching that last night, and I was just like,
That's sick.
There are things that stick out in wakeboarding, and that's one of them for sure. All right, fastest photo shoot ever.
All right, fastest photo shoot. I got the go ahead from Alliance, I believe, to do an instructional, and I think, again, I just wanted to do like a wrap scale 3 on it. So write up the instructional how to, right, and it was a sequence. So went out with Rodrigo, had the chase boat set up, just kind of the normal morning. Went out, bindings on, first trick, boom, got it. I looked at Rod, and he goes, yep, got it. I cut off, jump on the boat. We did a gear swap, so I jumped on the boat, switched out my shirt, shorts, make it look like a different day. Went right back, stale, rewind, put it down.
First tee,
cut out, jump back on the boat, and they're like, yeah, we got it. Like, all right, sweet. Like, less than 5 minutes. All right, let's go grab breakfast at 6 a.m.
I mean, both first tee. That's got to be
both first tee.
What could be faster?
Both shots ran 2 double pages.
Smart on the changing the. I mean, I guess you had to change the kit, but like that's a vet move right there.
Yeah, that was one of our things that we kind of figured out. It's like, well, they're not going to run the same shot of you like in the same,
which is fair.
Kit,
it would
right?
get kind of repetitive.
So we would go on the boat and like just in my glove box and just under the boat seats there. Like I rode for Fox at the time, so I just kept all my board shirts in there and had everything. So it's like, all right, I'm riding for 20 minutes. Like that stuff felt good. Let's jump in the boat, swap out. Like, and this would happen a lot, like end of year, October, like money time on the Delta. Like everyone just had like multiple kits on the boat because we're trying to stack footage and stack shots before wintertime, before we're not riding as much and flood the magazine. So we have all these different shots, these angles, these things.
Fall's the best time too, I would imagine.
Oh, it's so good.
Probably similar to the Midwest where it's just like the weather's it's not freezing, but it's a little crisp.
Yeah.
Everything's looking a little bit better.
Yeah,
you
butter
feel
for
good
days.
after
Yeah,
the season.
Sun's at a perfect angle like most of the day. You can shoot all the time and then no one's out there. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so I was talking to Garrett Cortez and he's wondering what your favorite slough on the Delta was or is.
Man, there's a lot of iconic ones like Railroad Sloughs, the one with the railroad bridge in the background. Yeah. That was just one you would just lap all day long because you can go up one side like 1.5 miles, go under the bridge, go back down the other side.
It's so sick.
Twin Slough, there's old rivers right there, and then we would start out of Discovery Bay is where I kept my boat most of the time. So you'd ride the boulevard down, but it was also kind of like time frame dependent.
Yeah.
Like if you pull out and it's 4 o'clock and you got a crew and you're out there, you just kind of go. And if it's butter out, like why turn around?
True.
So
just keep going.
You just go, and there's nothing stopping you. I think the Delta's like 10,000 miles of waterways if you really want to explore it all.
I was talking to, I don't know if it was Trever, Jacob Sunday, I think it was Trever, and it's just like, it breeds a different style of riding because of that, where it's butter and you can just go. So there's no rush, there's no turning around. It's just like, why do I need to bang all these tricks like super quick and super tight? Like I can just flow. You know?
Yeah, for sure. And that was definitely like a shock to me, like coming to Orlando and Florida for the first time. It's like these small-ish lakes where you're like, all right, you got to pack 10, 15 tricks in and then turn around and come back. Like I would get out there and people are like, why are you just like standing there and like butter sliding the wake for 5 minutes? And like, we have to turn the boat around a bunch. Like, why don't you want to
wasting our time?
Yeah, why don't you want to wakeboard? And it's like, well, I am. I'm like, I'm just cruising.
This is wakeboarding to me.
I'm like, I'm standing up. I'm going to ride for a minute. I'm going to like mess around on the board and do some things. And then, but yeah, it's, just things do adjust to you there, the difference on.
Very different mentalities, I guess. So, and I think in a little bit we can dive into kind of I don't want to say East Coast, West Coast, but like Florida, California, there's definitely a lot of differences as we were touching on. We were talking in the kitchen. We were making some coffee before this, and I was asking if you could switch method. So kind of run through the little switch method.
I was never able to do it great on the boat. I definitely tried, but it was just like never got to where I wanted there. I would do them off kickers back in the day, and I would do switch method and then 180 out of it, so not holding the method, but then I was able to eventually like switch method and then drop back into it that way for me. But I would just do this kind of like flail thing out of it, so I never got it to a point where I liked it. And for me, if a trick never felt good, I scrapped it.
She's out.
Yeah, gone.
So what was the motivation for trying a switch method? Because I feel like without somebody like bullying somebody else into it or being like, hey, you should try that. Like, did you just think of like, oh, I want to try doing switch methods? Like,
yeah, I think I was just trying them, just to try them.
Just a random like, I want to try this.
But yeah, I mean, I would hit the kicker switch and then do fives and different things out of them. But I would like to like switch over and kind of glide it that way.
Yeah.
So they were kind of getting into this method position and then trying to like hold it that way. It was like, all right, I think I could do that, but I couldn't.
Yeah. They're very, very hard to do and very almost impossible to do well, I would say, is the switch method.
Yeah, not many people come to mind that I can actually do.
Absolutely not. That's a call out there if you want to start banging them out. I think Daniel Johnson behind the boat, he posted a mirrored. He did a method and then switch method, and the switch one was looking pretty good. So
yeah,
it's kind of sick to see. All right, let's kind of talk about what you're up to these days, because you're in Florida, obviously. So yeah, what are you doing these days?
Yeah, I mean, you got the wife and kids. We got 3 kids at the house. We got the cousins at the house. There's 3 more of them. So
oh wow, that's a packed.
Everybody's rolling around.
That's a packed crib.
We're on Lake Holden, so we're on the water a lot in the summertime, and everyone's doing all the different activities. So my wife loves to wakeboard as well. That's how we met, through wakeboarding.
Really, I didn't know that.
So we actually met on Lake Jessamine. I was living with Adam Fields at the time.
Yeah.
Just cruised over with some buddies to go ride there, and then she was moving into the house there. So
damn,
yeah,
sick.
Yeah,
so you're still ripping quite a bit.
Yeah, I mean, I like to wakeboard when I can. So.
Yeah. How often are we talking? An approximation.
I mean, I definitely go in, phases of it where I'm like, all right, I'm into it and want to start riding. A lot of times it's just behind. I still have my like original O2 X Star at the house. So that's the boat that we're running on, and it's just my wife Lisa pulling me there. So just riding with the kids a bunch. If I do want to ride a bigger wake, there's 10,
sure
15,
you got plenty of homies
10, 15 options on the lake there as well. Where it's like I see them run in the backyard. Hey, come swoop me up on the dock. You can do it down and back, and throw some gas in your boat. So
damn.
But yeah, I mean, summertime definitely a lot more. Not as much this year. I think I was going a little more foil on it than wakeboard.
Oh no,
Yeah.
Are we losing you to the foil, Derek?
Not losing, just
adding it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, just in the quiver there.
We can get down with that. Okay, as long as you don't replace the wakeboard,
Yeah.
can't be having that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's something I said with wakeboarding is like, the lakes are short here. You got to turn around the boat. I'm hitting a double up every time I go down the boat on both sides of the lake. So if I wakeboard and I'm like denying double ups, then all right, I'm over it.
That's fair.
So
I feel like that's a good outlook on that. Like,
yeah, and if you're turning around the boat, you might as well do a double up.
I wanted to
why
ask
waste
your
the
opinion on that, because like that's what I think. Like every time I ride in Michigan, like my parents' boat, it's a 06X2, so it's nothing special. But
same.
like I don't know, just something about a double up on any boat where it's just like you're trying to figure out getting into it. And obviously I'm not a, crazy pro rider or anything, but like it's just fun and you're turning the boat around anyways. Just line that sucker up and like see what happens.
Yeah, even if you don't hit the double up, do a re-entry off of it.
Re-entry.
Like, use that wake and like play with it. So.
And if you fall there, like you're at the end of the pass anyways.
Exactly.
Like,
let the lake chill out and get a little smoother ride on the way.
Exactly. Double ups. Love them. Okay. All right, let's back it up. Early days of Derek Cook. So like West Coast guy, right? So first time getting on the water. What's that looking like?
Man, I think I was 13 or 14 when I tried wakeboarding. So, family wasn't into water sports whatsoever. We actually had, I lived down in like Morgan Hill, Gilroy, which is a little south of San Jose there, just over the hill from Santa Cruz, maybe like 45 minutes. There was a lake in our town. I knew about it, but we never went to it or did that. We just weren't into water sports whatsoever. My dad, I guess we had a family friend that had a place up near Shasta, and we went with them out on a houseboat trip. So they're like, "Oh, come with us, like come on the lake, do this." They just had an old outboard ski boat that we went and hung out with them on the water there. So, and actually, it took me almost a week to like figure it out and stand up. Didn't have instruction, just family and friends like, "Oh, you can try
a week."
Try. Yeah, a week. Like,
yeah.
And then there was a knee board there, so I was like, all right, I can do the knee board. So I was like messing around with that. I'm like, all right, I can do this. I can't do that. I'm going to do this more. End of the week, finally stood up on the wakeboard, and I figured out the edging on the knee board, and I was able to jump the wake like the first time on it.
On the wakeboard?
Yeah. So, and I skateboarded and I snowboarded at that point, and I grew up like snow skiing. So snow skied a lot, was good at that. Could do backflips when I was like 10 on a skis, just off little side hits.
Yeah.
And then was able to do that pretty quickly on a snowboard. So like the board felt pretty similar once. So
it translates for sure. Yeah.
So I tried it that year one time, and then the next summer had some friends that were going out on Lake Anderson, which was in our backyard in Morgan Hill.
Okay.
Went with them, wakeboarded, landed a tantrum on my second ride.
Damn. So wake jump first time, kind of getting up, figuring it out.
Yeah.
Tantrum second try. Kid's going pro, it sounds like.
Oh yeah, it was just something like, all right, this is cool.
This is easy.
I think I could do a flip here. I tried to flip. I did a flip. I'm like,
damn.
Okay.
And tantrum. I mean, I feel like that's kind of, for me, it was back roll, but tantrum, you kind of got to trip it. But I guess if you got it,
we had a trampoline, and I was always flipping and spinning, just
there you
doing
go.
stuff like that. So.
All right, so keep going down, I guess, the progression of it, because, I mean, it sounds like it's going well. You got the friends have a boat in that area?
I went out with them, and then I think went out a few more different times with a few different boating people, and then my dad's like, all right, this seems cool. Like, got an older boat. I think it was like a 86. It was called a Marlin. So it was just an outboard boat, ski boat, engine in the middle, and then started like, getting the magazines and like looking into all the gear and all the stuff and stopping by the shops and, getting into it more at that point. So we were, buying fat sacks, like figuring out different things. Like I think one of the magazines, it was like people were putting, Home Depot buckets and filling them full of concrete. So we're like, all right, sweet. Let's grab bags of concrete and put it in the bag or in the boat there. So yeah, just kind of going down that
diving
route.
in at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and got pretty good. This is also no pole on the boat or anything. No tower, no pole. Yeah. So we're just off the back of the boat. I think I learned most of the basic flips and rotations at that point.
Okay.
And then the next year, maybe it was even like Christmas present. I'm like, Dad, we need to get a ski pole, a high pole, on this thing. So got that, and then that definitely kind of like kept it going there, and the progression definitely took off a lot more.
Yeah, it's got to be a game changer back then.
Yeah, I mean, I remember like coming into the wake the first time, trying to do a back roll, like what was my normal tension, and I almost did, like I did over 1.5. Like it was just chucking through the air.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my gosh.
This is good.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're in it now. Like you said, you're going to shops, magazines, all that stuff. Describe like the culture of wakeboarding in California at that time, as well as you can remember.
Yeah, I mean, this is still definitely pretty early where I'm just starting to get into it. I met a few other friends that I worked with at this golf course at the time. My friend Ryan Wall, he was really good at wakeboarding. Him and this other kid, Brian. So I started going out with them a lot as well. He had this like 96 Glastron, I believe.
Yeah.
So, and then he made a pole in high school in like his welding shop.
Sick.
And put it on the boat. Yeah. So like I would go out with them, and they were like, they knew all the flips, front flips, just all the stuff you could do at the time. And he was really good. He had whirly birds and just all the, he was kind of like the next rider. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to hang out with these guys, and like they're doing the stuff I want to do. So yeah, a lot of hanging out with those guys. And then I guess you're saying like the culture.
Yeah. And like biggest inspirations, like guys you saw in mags or stuff, and you're like,
yeah, a lot of this was just magazines, and you'd be waiting for the next one to come in the mailbox. Oh, here's the instructional. Cool, I'm gonna go try this because the magazines like, here's the steps to do it.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go check my body and see if this works.
see if we can put her down.
Yeah,
I love that. Okay, so this may be fast forwarding a little bit, but like,
yep.
West Coast versus Florida. I mean, I don't even want to say like versus, but like it's different. Florida's different than California, because when I'm looking at California and I'm thinking about riders from California, style is like so important to everything when it comes to not even just the tricks, but like what you wear and how everything's edited and all that stuff versus, now you're in Florida, or you came to Florida, I'm sure. Like, I guess kind of describe the differences that you saw, because you grew up in California, you kind of lived it. It was almost like ingrained in you. And then maybe a little bit of the difference in Florida when you came here. Yeah,
definitely. It was a little bit later. I guess I was probably 18, 19, getting more into the scene there. So there was these local contests up in, I guess not necessarily local, but in Sacramento, there was this lake called Bell Aqua, and they did like the amateur kind of INT type contest, and everyone would go to those things. So I started traveling up there with friends to go do that. I never did great in the contest, but I was always close to the podium, and just in general, like I was never great at contests, but I was there for the scene and to be a part of it. And then this one guy was named Jason Buffalo, was the announcer that put them all on. He was just this guy in the industry. He's actually a really big dude. He weighed like 300 plus, big guy, but he could do all the flips and all the stuff, and he was into it. Like, he was linked in with different boat companies, and he always got a free boat, and he was linked in with Hyperlight, and he was doing all these board tests for these different companies for, if you could break these different boards. So he was kind of testing the limits of boards and stuff. So he was, I guess, kind of a big deal, and he would definitely like promote the sport within the industry there. So one of the summers, there was a Hyperlight demo in Discovery Bay, and I've never even heard of the Delta or been to it at this point.
Oh, wow.
And he's like, hey, come out, meet me here for the demo, come out on the Delta and ride for the day. And I'm like, all right, cool. Like, I'll drive up here, see what it's all about, like, check it out. I definitely heard of the Delta, but I've just never been there. I didn't know anyone that went out there. So I pull up to Orwoods, which is one of the launch ramps in Discovery Bay there. I'm hanging out. I don't see anyone. I call him, and I'm like, hey, what's up? And he's like, oh, the demo got canceled. Like, just hang out on the dock. I'll call someone else and see if someone else can pick you up. And he calls Josh Smith at the time, which was like, didn't know this, but he's like legend, like OG Delta guy, master of style. And just like, that was his thing in wakeboarding. He pulls up to the dock like an hour later. I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, oh, what's up, man? Like, let's go wakeboard. Ends up being like Josh, Darren Razor, Rich Fasciano, this other guy, Vinny, which he was doing a wakeboard company at the time out of Discovery Bay. It's like pressing his own like local boards called Funded Boards. So I took a set with those guys, and they're like, oh, man, you ride good. Like, you want to ride for our wakeboard company? I'm like, yeah, like, I thought I was just coming up to like test a Hyperlight board, or like I just wanted to come wakeboard, like, and knew people were wakeboarding here.
Yeah.
So met those guys there. I ended up not going home for a month, and I slept on Josh Smith's couch and was just like instantly like immersed in like this wakeboard culture of Discovery Bay, which I had no idea was there. Met Rodrigo on that first trip up there, and just kept going back.
How old was this? How old were you?
I was 18.
Okay, so probably just graduated high school.
Yeah, just graduated high school.
Were there plans of going to college, or like did you have plans after high school? I guess.
I wanted to stick around California because when I was I guess other side note, when I was 16 or 16, we ended up getting an X-Star, which was the boat at the time. Yeah. So my good friend Paul Sinceri, his dad, not even knowing this, getting into wakeboarding, but he was into wakeboarding. We were hanging out. His dad used to be a boat dealer for, it was called NorCal Mastercraft now, but I forget what it was back in the day. So he was able to get us like an insane deal on the boat, basically at cost.
Yeah.
And then he didn't take any commission because Paul was my best friend, and he's like, well, I want Paul to be into this as well, so I'm not gonna like make money on my kid like doing this. So yeah. So we ended up getting the X-Star. I think we got it for like $44,000.
And what year was this? Do you remember? Like
it was September 2001.
Okay. Is this the boat you still have? The same X-Star?
You know what? I have a red one now. This one was a yellow one.
Same year though.
Same year.
Okay. Anyways.
So
got the X-Star.
So got the X-Star in September of 2001, I believe. And then like we rode through winter. We rode every single day. Like my Christmas present was the shower attachment that you get on the boat to like heat the water up. So you'd take a set, you'd shove the hot water shower down your wetsuit, like de-thaw, and then keep waiting. Yeah.
Sick. Okay, so was that your first sponsor though when you were on the Delta for like that month when they're like, "Do you want to ride for our brand?" Like, was that your first sponsor? Or?
I think that was probably close to the first sponsor. The year before that, I made a VHS wakeboard demo tape. So, and then I went through every single page in the magazine. They list their company address on there. Yeah. So made my sponsor me tape. Ended up being like 65 tapes or something.
I was gonna say, how many tapes are you sending out?
Dude, just stacks of them, right? And then I bought like a video recorder. You got to record the one tape to the other tape, put it in the box, mail it out, and it's like $5 a tape or whatever to mail at the time.
Super cheap to send all these out.
Yeah, so it took
and to get the tapes,
months and hours of times of like just re-recording my edit on there. Sent them all out to every single company. Got a few responses back, and then there was a company called Earthboards at the time. They were like, all right, sweet, cool edit. Like, well, let's send you some boards. I was like, all right, cool. Like that worked. Like I got a sponsor out of it. So they started sending me boards. They were not good quality, like not pressed well. I snapped every single board. Ooh. I think I ran through like 15 boards, just, something to the flash, wham, gone.
Yeah, maybe ain't it.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, sucks, but it's a free board. We're going to keep doing it.
True.
But yeah, then once Funded came around, I was with those guys for, I think like 2 years or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
And was there ever any money with that, or was it just product hanging out?
It was just product. It was talk of doing a pro model at some point. They had like one mold at the time. Okay. And it was pretty progressive, actually. It was a full, just kind of flat shape, but then it was the first wakeboard that actually had a V on the bottom of it. So, and their thought behind it was like, put the V on, it'll break the water tension as you hit the water. So it was a 142 board, which I was 17 at the time, it's as tall as me. And I was like, I don't care. Like
ahead of your time there, Derek.
Yeah, it's like, this is the wakeboard I'm riding. Like everyone's on it. This is what was good. And it was super loose. Had bolt-on fins. I did run a fin. The other guys, Josh and Darren, that were running it, they ran finless on the thing. Gangster. So they're just slipping around everywhere. Yeah. Like, one of their things that they were like into was just like all the little small things on the water. So like you did a trick, you land switch, like on your line, you don't want to ollie out of it. You just want to like butter slowly across and then back in on your next one. So there was just like little nuances and things like that where it's like, they were really like precise on their look and their, how they wanted wakeboarding to be seen there.
Yeah, very West Coast, I think. Yeah.
The
little things for sure.
Right, and then going back to, the West Coast or East Coast type thing. But that was like the guys who I was around where it's like style was everything. They're not trying to do the next contest trick or the highest spin. Like they want to look good on the board. They want to shoot for the magazines. Another thing was like photo incentives were a big thing back in the day. So you get a photo in the magazine, that logo's on the board, you're going to get paid. So that was like how they're like, making money on it.
Damn. Okay. So you're on them for like 2-ish years. When does Gator come into play? Is Gator immediately after this, or?
Let's see. Gator was,
or is this a bit after?
06, 07, I want to say.
Okay. So there was a pretty big gap in between these then?
I'm trying to think what was in between there. There was Crown wakeboards in between there.
See, these are brands I haven't even heard of.
Really?
I'm not. Yeah. I was like 4 years old at this point, probably.
So Crown wakeboards.
Those sound sick though. Crown wakeboards.
Yeah, they were good boards. So they had a pretty good team, like Colin Wright. I don't know if I want to say Kyle Murphy was on it, but they had a pretty stacked team of people. They paid pretty good, which is probably the demise of them because
they were paying you too.
Yeah.
What are we talking?
I was getting like $750 a month.
Okay.
Yeah. Nice. So it was, it was keeping me on a board at the time. Yeah. But yeah, they tried to like stack their teams. They were running lots of ads. So I think just their,
ran a little too hot too quick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they kind of had a brutal ad campaign where they would do these ads, double page ads. And one of them was like not even anybody wakeboarding, but it was every single other wakeboard company in the industry was on a tombstone. And they were like, all these kind of cryptic ads and these different things of like, oh,
just
you guys
going in.
You're right. Which at the time I'm like, oh, that looks kind of cool. But hindsight's like, oh, well, you just paid $6,000 and now you're out of a company.
And nobody saw your board on the page.
Yeah. They were around for 4 or 5 years, but it just ended up being a money issue.
Tales old as time there. Okay, so you're on them, and then I guess does Gator come after that? Because
and then I was testing boards for Crown, so I had some blank boards for a while because we were working on a pro model with them. I ended up getting one, but that was the time where it was on its way out, so I just had a couple boards pressed, but then it never ran. No incentives, nothing ever came.
You still
from
have
that.
one?
I still have one.
Okay,
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah,
always got to keep that.
Yeah. It was a pretty cool graphic. It was I didn't pick it, but at the time it was It was a hand, and it was like a poker hand, and it had like a royal flush on it. So it was like the royal flush series.
Sick.
Yeah.
That's super sick.
Yeah. I was into it.
Hell yeah. Okay, so you got that pro model, but it's probably kind of like I don't know. It's like fizzling out at the end there, and it's not. You probably see the writing on the wall with Crown or something. I would imagine it's like
yeah. They were at a point where like we can't pay anymore. We can send you some boards, but I was like, all right, well this is not going. So
yeah.
And then there was about a year where I just rode the blank boards, and I was just like approaching companies and trying to get that next sponsor and next company to work with there.
Yeah.
So I rode a blank board for a while. And actually had a decent amount of shots that ran on that blank board.
So sick.
And then my good buddy Nick Masso is an artist and would just draw all the time. So I'm like, hey, just draw me some pictures or whatever you want on this board. So he would draw like Delta sunset pictures and just all this different things on the board. And, we'd spray paint different things on it. So I just had stickers on a whiteboard with like random doodles on the thing.
That's kind of sick.
Yeah, but it was cool. Like I'd get a photo print. I'm like, hey Nick, like here's this. Put this in your resume if you want.
Sick. Okay, but did you have other sponsors at this time that were paying? I mean, like.
Yeah, I was always had like 2 to 3 that were like paying, not like great, but a decent amount to keep me on. I would always have. So going back to the photo incentive thing, like this is part of what kept me on a wakeboard and like was my strategy. I always had like a low paying monthly, and then I would have a photo incentive kind of cap. So say I got like $250, $500 a month from a company, but then I had a yearly budget of like $5,000 of a cap of photo incentives.
You're maxing that thing out.
Yeah, and I'm maxing it out because I'm running 10 to 15 photos a year between all the different magazines.
Yeah.
And then we would run 500, 1,000, and 2,500 for a cover. So 500 for single page, double 1,000, and then if you got a cover, 2,500.
Yeah, and
and I was hitting those.
You're hitting those.
Yeah.
So I guess that you said that's your strategy. So like you obviously have to have good relationships. I'm sure you had a good relationship with Rod, but like are there other photographers that you're like, very tapped in with, like always getting after it, always ready to be like making things happen, I guess is kind of what it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, I lived off and on Rodrigo's couch for, decades here. But yeah, then it was always like, all right, we're going to go wakeboard, but there's always a photographer involved on these different trips and treks throughout California. Garrett would come into town after he moved to Florida, or even before that, like, all right, let's meet up with Garrett, shoot photos, try and submit to the magazine. Another local photographer, Arun Francis, was shooting photos. He ran a skate shop that I was sponsored for, and it was a wakeboard shop for a little bit. He was shooting photos, so I'd shoot with him often. So I'd probably say, like, more often than not, if I was wakeboarding, I always wanted a camera on, because that's what got me hyped. And that was like, all right, if I'm doing this for my job, I want to be like putting it down on paper. I want to be like documenting these things, and I want to be trying to make money at it.
Yeah. Get exposure. Like that's what if I'm doing this thing, I want to make sure people know I'm doing it. And like, that's the right thing to do for your sponsors. Your career.
I was trying to get in the magazines. I was trying to be in front of the camera. And when I was in front of the camera, I felt like I rode better. Yeah.
Pressure. Yeah. Pressure makes diamonds, but not the contest pressure. Like you said, you weren't really as much of a contest guy.
No, that would just destroy me.
Yeah, mentally it doesn't work.
I won a few like amateur stuff here and there, and then I've made a few pro podiums, but overall, like it wasn't my thing, and not that I wasn't into contests, I just wasn't good at them. Also,
I feel like a lot of people who like aren't good at contests, people might put them in the bucket of just like, oh, you hate contests, like why? It's like, no, I'm just not good at them.
Yeah, well, and you hate them too because you don't win. So
true, yeah, like the idea is to win.
Yeah.
And I'm not capable of doing that.
Yeah.
So like, I don't like these things.
The realization was also like, I heard Parks say one time, like, well, you don't like contests because you're not good at them. And I'm like, yeah, that's true. He wasn't telling me directly, but it was like within the
it's just like speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Like,
and I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Like, I don't win these things. I'm not good at them. I get super nervous when I'm there. And then if I don't perform the way I like, I just feel horrible.
Yeah. Well, and the thing with contests is only one person wins.
Yeah, yeah.
Everybody else is a loser.
Right.
So it's like, it's kind of a tough situation to be in, unless if you're the guy that's like consistently winning them. It's like, well, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Shit, you're not going to like these things. So, all right. I think it's time we shake it up. We dive into the LF'n Wheel of Questions presented by Liquid Force.
The LF'n Wheel of Questions.
Okay, let's go.
So if you want to go ahead and grab that wheel down, we can give it a spin. Liquid Force likes to make wakeboarding fun, so let's make this podcast a little bit more fun. Spinning the LF'n Wheel of Questions. Yeah, perfect right there.
Good?
So, yeah. And you could give it a good spin.
Yeah, give her a rip, huh?
Yeah, give her a rip. See what she lands on here. If you can read my handwriting on there. What's it say?
We got hot take.
Hot take. Okay. Derek Cook, what's your hot what's your hot take? What do you got? West Coast people always have good hot takes. I'm just prefacing that.
So pertains to wrap spins here. A lot of people do wrap spins because they say that it gets you there, or it's it just helps you do the rotations. But if you're not grabbing your spin, and if you're not grabbing a wrap spin, don't do it because it looks like crap.
That's a great hot take.
I don't know if that's just an opinion or if that's like a hot take.
I don't know. That's I think it could be either or, because like, I think people try and use the wrap to just get another 180, right? And it's like, that wasn't really the goal of the wrap at the beginning, from my understanding, is it was able to be able to have more time to grab, right?
Yeah.
So. Yeah,
definitely. And I guess going on the wrap handle there, like if I don't have a wrap handle on my handle when I wakeboard, like I'm super lost. Like I get out there and I'm just like, oh, I can't do half the tricks. I can't do most of the tricks I want to do if I don't have a wrap handle. And I try and do them just holding on to the rope. And
how do you feel about wrap tricks on the cable?
I wish there was more.
I feel like if there were availability of wrap handles on the cable,
it's
just the lack of the handle is tough.
So I had an idea of, the ball that's on the wrap.
Yeah, the little floaty ball.
Right? Like put a little grip on the thing to where you can grab the ball, and then that's your wrap handle on the thing.
That could work.
I'm not in that space or whatever to do
but that's the idea.
When I was working with Follow, that was one of the ideas. Like, I wonder if there's a cable where we can like put these on there and make that a thing.
Yeah.
So we ran down like the concepts and the rabbit hole there of seeing if it could work or not, but
Interesting.
never got to.
It would be
fruition.
cool. I would be really interested. I mean, obviously the pole's usually higher, so it's a little bit different. Where it's
Yeah.
like kind of up on your upper back rather than like at a better spot. But like, yeah, it would be cool to see.
And I've asked Gavin and Trent on this. I'm like, hey, why does no one do wrap tricks? And their thought was you can spin so fast on the cable that you don't need it.
I mean,
you can get into it.
Yeah.
I get their point on it, where it's like, all right, I can go so fast and get there.
Yeah.
But to me, the look of coming in wrapped on your whole approach is the whole trick as well. Like, from start to finish, you need to have a whole part of it. So if you can do a handle pass and then grab tail on it. But if you're going like this straight to tail, that's a different look than passing the handle and getting there.
That's a good point. All right, so I'm glad you brought up wrap tricks because obviously, if anybody knows you or seen you ride at all, that we're going to be talking about wrap tricks. And we got an LF'n wild card from the crew at Liquid Force, and they're wondering what's the easiest wrap trick to learn. So if somebody's never tried wrap tricks on the boat, they get the wrap handle, they're thinking about trying these things. What's the easiest one? Or where should you start?
I mean, you got to have a few just spins in general because you're spinning out of them. You can't really just wrap a 180 unless it's a back 180.
Yeah.
The kind of go-to, I guess, is if you have toe back 180s because that's kind of a natural motion where you can just kind of let go and drift into it.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty easy one. Wrapped front threes is also kind of the way to go there. Heel side.
Yeah.
And then when I teach them to people, I always do it one wake and going, 18, 19 miles an hour. So just popping up and then going a quick one wake 360 wrap.
Unwrap. Yeah.
And then also toe side, backside that direction.
Okay.
The easiest feeling for me is switch wrap back 180s.
Switch wrap back 180s. Okay. Heel side or toe side? It doesn't matter.
Switch backside, heel side.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
You have some really good wrap back ones, I will
Nice.
say. Because I was watching Talk Days. Okay. All right. We can put the LF'n wild card or LF'n wheel question back. Thank you to Liquid Force for that. And this is actually great because, like I said, we're going to talk about wrapping. So let's talk about when you first got into wrapped tricks and kind of the vibe and, I guess why you started going down that path.
I mean, I remember the exact set that had happened. I was on a boat in Discovery Bay. Josh Smith's, Nautique, Super Air Nautique at the time. I was on the boat with Josh, Aaron Aubrey, and Kyle Murphy. And those were, top three wrap guys at the time. Of course, Randall as well. But so I was on the boat with these guys. And I was just like, I'm watching them ride. I'm going to ride last. And I'm like, I got to learn these things. Like, everyone else is doing them. I already think they're, like, cool and good looking. Like, why am I not doing these?
Yeah.
So that was kind of like the realization point. Like, all right, I got to start going down this path of wrapping up. Yeah.
So what was the, I guess, I don't know at all at this point, but how did wakeboarding as a whole feel about wrap tricks at that time? Did everybody think they were pretty cool, or was there anybody that was like, man, this is
I mean, in
weird.
my opinion, they were always cool. So it's not,
I
don't know what.
Yeah, you didn't know what these random people were saying on the other side of the world, like, wrap tricks are fucking stupid.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I've heard you're just doing that to cheat the trick to get there. But to me, if you don't have a wrap handle on your rope and you're not doing them, you're missing out on half the tricks you can do.
Yeah.
Because grabbing a wrap 3 tail or stale is way different than a melon 3 on that. Well, and you can't get there without doing it and then a late grab, which is quick. I can do a tail 3 and grab it through the entirety of the 360.
Yeah. And that's I think something that hasn't been talked about enough because it's so different on a wakeboard grabbing because you have to pass the handle when you're doing spins. Unless you're wrapping. So when you're wrapped up, it feels like a totally different sport probably because you immediately go off the wake. It's like you go off and jump on a snowboard, grab right away. There's nothing that is preventing me from just immediately grabbing my board, which is sick.
Yeah, and it was comparable to snowboarding as well, where you can go grab backhand grabs.
Yeah, I can go from takeoff to landing and it's got in my hand.
Backside wraps, you're going front hand grabs.
Yeah. Easy. Okay. So I was watching a lot of your riding, and there's some wrap tricks you come in, and this is kind of nuanced, but your wrapped or your hand that's on the handle isn't in your hand. It's on this part of your wrist.
Yeah.
So explain why you do that.
Those were for like double grabs or just grabbing with that hand there.
Okay.
So a lot of them, for me, a lot of them were switch backside to where I could, even with the rotating chair, my arm's through the handle on this side here. All my tension's on the wrap handle. I can come through and do truck driver, do double grab on the back, or do these different grab combinations like that.
Still have the hand available too.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess
even like switch backside 180 into a method there.
And you're just catching the handle as it kind of slides down into your hand. Is that?
Yeah. And eventually, like, it sounds like it's not safe, but it is safe in a way.
I mean, I guess what would make it like super unsafe? Just because there's a little bit of slack in it.
Well, I mean, you're putting your arm intentionally in the handle.
Yeah.
Right. So that's,
it could slip up the other way.
It could slip up the other way, but the way I rotate it into it, it's always facing the boat. And that's when you do your grab, is when your arm is there and then you're facing the boat.
Yeah.
So if it feels sketchy, then you just flick it off at that point.
Okay.
But further spins, like I've tried like arm through handle back fives, but you got to like get it out and then keep going. Yeah. So those ones are a little
more
maybe
tricky.
on the unsafe side.
Yeah.
So a lot of people, when they're like, oh, you put your arm through the handle on purpose, like that's super sketchy. But I've done it enough to where it doesn't feel sketchy anymore.
It's not quite as what the like people just looking at it would think, because I mean, experience is kind of everything when it comes to that. So, all right, I think we dive into a Patreon question from Daniel Jarrett, and he's wondering, who was your first inspiration to ride the way you do? He says Randall, ? And then second, any rap tricks that you dreamt up but were never able to put down?
Ooh, those are good ones. I don't know if there's an exact person or of like saying that who I wanted to emulate or like all that. I mean, I definitely watched all the wakeboard videos, bought all the, VHSs, and then went to DVDs and all that. I had, the full quiver of all those. So I would just study them and watch them. My writing's also always been a little unique or off. Like I've also coached for like 20 years and I've always told all my students, like, do as I say, not as I do. Because I am a horrible example of like,
we were talking about that earlier in the kitchen.
Like what you're supposed to look like on a wakeboard approaching the wake. Like, don't do what I do. Because it's not going to work for you.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work for me a lot of times. But so, yeah, as far as inspiration, like, I mean, Parks was a huge one with, like, the off-axis spins and the way he rotated. I always thought that stuff was super sick. Like, the way he could do, like, back-off 180s and all these different rotations. That was super big, like, in my eyes, like, watching his parts from, like, All or Nothing. And obviously Randall was a huge inspiration, and just always watching his writing was like, jaw dropping. It was always on this beyond other level. Even before I knew him, it was just like, man, like this is insane. Like, watching his part in Natural Born Thrillers and Mayday, like, dude, they're legendary. Like they will stand up till the end of time, and they're just like incredible of what he was able to do on a board.
There's no doubt about that. And I think we touch on Randall in a minute here. The second part is any rap tricks you dreamt up but were never able to put down. I guess there's still time. We could throw a new one down.
Yeah, I may have hit the gym pretty hard and like, get after it again.
Any ones that got away you thought of?
The zero got away from me.
Really?
Yeah, so I was actually almost landed it when we were filming for Al Sur.
Okay.
And it was the first attempt I ever did at it. In my part in Al Sur, I do a big rewind where I'm coming down and I'm kind of rolling down the windows and then put it down. I originally thought like, oh man, like I went so big, I was like kind of flailing coming down. I don't know if I really liked the look of the clip. And then Chris O was on the shoot as well, and he's like, man, like that was so sick. Like even like you flailing, like it just showed how big you went, how intense that thing was.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, like I'll live
Chris
with that.
Also,
Chris was there. Like, yeah, that has to be right. So I hit that double up, and I'm like, I was about to chuck the handle. I'm like, you know what, guys, one more. Like, let me see what if I can do another one. So I get up there, and then I get up the top, and I didn't even think about it coming into the trick. And I'm like, at the very top, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go zero. I come around and I have the handle in my hand and I'm about to close out and land the 0. But I was landing like past the trough and I'm like, I'm going to get lit on this thing. Like, you know, I want my knees. If I'm not in the right spot on a double up, like I'm just going to chuck the handle and live to see another day. So that was really the closest I've ever came on it. And then I battled that trick for years after that.
Damn,
years.
You never got.
Never was able to put one down. Even came like to Florida. Me and Trever came out, stayed with Danny Harf after filming Elser. We're like, oh, let's go. Danny's like, hey, come out, ride with me. Like, it was winter. Came out, stayed with him for like 10 days. And that was like the trick. I'm like, all right, I got to get this thing. Like, I was trying these with Danny in Mexico. Like, he was driving them. He was actually the one that like coined the name. I'll call it a 0 because you go back and forth, 0 rotation eventually.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was never able to put it down. Mossy was coming up at the time and riding with us. So he was out with us the whole week. So it was me, Danny, Mossy, and Trever filming and shooting the whole time. I could see it in Mossy's eyes. He's just like jonesing, like, oh, that's possible that you can do that trick. And next week it comes out, Mossy lands a 0 just in a run, which totally cool. I'm super stoked for him at the time.
The kid's got it.
Yeah, he's got it. Yeah. Like,
that's
if it was
fun.
anyone else, like, copping the trick, it'd be like, oh, I feel a little burnt on that.
Give me a little more time at least. Come on now.
But I had enough time. I continued at it, but it was just never something. But it was probably the way I do it and the line tension and the way like I free float it. There's not tension during my whole trick.
Yeah.
And then it kind of like snaps the rope and comes down super late for me. So the way the trick works for me, it doesn't work to go further on it.
You're starting that second 360 later than probably typically somebody else would because you don't have the tension throughout the entire thing.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of my spins, they just free float where the rope is loose. I'm just up there hanging, and then the rope catches, and then I either go to something else after that.
And we'll talk about that dog days because I was noticing that when I was rewatching it, and it's unique and cool, and it's like a little refreshing to be like, oh, like I think a lot of people probably might not notice that like rope slack and then snap, but like it's cool, it's different. So, but before we do that, I think you kind of touched on Randall, and I know me and you talked about it before the pod, but watching Randall in person, I guess we can just kind of start there because few in the world in the grand scheme of things have gotten to see him ride in person, and I'm sure you've seen him ride a good bit, to say the least, in person.
Yeah,
what's that like?
It's a lot of it was on the Delta, which is absolutely terrifying because I'm also in a position at this point where I'm either driving him or driving chase.
Yeah.
And if you don't know the Delta, it's not very wide. Like it's, a 8-lane highway width of the entire Delta. So he rides 92 feet, 28 miles an hour. When he edges out, he's on the rocks on one side, like from here, right there to the edge.
You can touch him.
And he's touching them. He's ripping in probably 45, 50 miles an hour at the wake, and then he's landing 10 feet away from the rocks on the other side. So it's definitely like this kind of like awe moment where you're just like in this like zone of having to be. I've always been in a position where I'm either driving the boat or chase boat driving. So like you're locked into what's happening.
Yeah, the two most important people.
You're watching him wakeboarding, doing the tricks, and you're like, dang, that was super sick. Everything he does, like insane. But it's also just like this terrifying moment where you're just like,
it's on the brink of like this is the coolest thing I've ever seen, but fuck, this is gnarly.
As gnarly as it gets, because if he hits the water weird, which it's happened, he's hit and he's rolled up on shore a few times or gotten close to it, and if he pops the handle, he's going straight.
He's keeping the speed.
Yeah, he's keeping that speed right into the rocks. Fuck. And it was very few times where it got to that point.
Yeah.
But, the sections that we would ride, and there's definitely, like, he couldn't ride railroad slough. We didn't go down that slough.
Because it wasn't wide enough?
Wasn't wide enough.
That's so cool. To me, that's so cool.
Like you couldn't go down it. There's spots on the Delta that were not wide enough for him to ride. So.
Oh, that's so fucking sick. All right, let's talk. I mean, were you there for his back 5 in Scumline? Were you driving the boat or the chase boat, or were you there at all? It was kind of dark. I couldn't really see in the.
Was that on the Delta
shots.
or was
Delta.
that?
Pretty sure.
I don't think
I think Ty Hine was driving one of the boats.
Yeah, I was not there for that.
Okay,
one. Yeah.
all right. That's a moment.
Yeah, at the time, like I was either living in Tahoe or I was living in Orlando.
Okay.
So I was just flying out for the Scumline shoots, and those were times that I wasn't there with Randall on it.
Gotcha. Okay. Let's just talk about Randall's impact, I guess, because like you said, you were around watching him ride a lot, and I think everybody agrees he's had a massive impact, but I guess you've seen it firsthand, like his impact on wakeboarding as a whole and other people.
Yeah, it's man, like the GOAT, like one of the greatest to ever do it, and like there will never be another Randall, and just the way he approached it and kept his body at this high level condition for so long as well. Like, you know, we were close to the same age. You know, I always looked up to him, like, you know, before I was in wakeboarding, like that's, you know, the best to ever do it there.
Yeah.
But just, yeah, his impact, like, you know, there's been multiple stories and people and things that I've seen of people posting, like, after the fact now that he's gone, like, oh, I met him one time on this dock, and, you know, it was a huge impact moment. So he was on that superstar level of, like, people would get around him and, you know, obviously, you know, get the chills of just being there. So
Yeah.
to have that that type of rider and that type of person, and then just to become really good friends with that person as well, like, was, you know, just cool in general. But yeah, we spent a lot of time together, like, because he would come up, he would stay with Rodrigo, I was staying with Rod, and Rod would be like, I'd get a phone call, hey, like, Randall's coming up, like, what are you doing? I'm coming over, like, I will be there the entire time. Like, yeah, let's do this. One cool story where Randall was coming into town, it was during when we're filming for Dog Days. I had this boat that was on the side of the shore, like crash boat up on the levee. I was like, oh, I want to drag that boat down, use it as a jib or a pole jam. So I get my boat, we tie a bunch of chains to this thing, I drag it off the shore, I position it into this like pole jam kicker type thing. Sessioned it a few times, and then I was like, hey, Rod, like, I got this shot lined up. Let's get this shot here. And actually, even before that, like that morning, I'm shooting it with Trever. I get my ender clip for Dog Days on it.
The 7?
The 7, yeah. Which it was a wrap heel 7 off the boat, off the pole jam. That's my only wrapped heel 7 I've ever done, ever.
He did it off of his sunken boat.
Yeah, did it off a sunken boat.
It was sick.
And that was one of the times where, I guess going into this story a little more, where people go into like a flow state where everything's in slow motion and you're like fully in the zone. I can still picture to this moment, like every single moment living, thinking up into where exactly I was, where I was grabbing, where Trever was sitting in the water, who was driving chase, like where we were at that morning. So pretty cool to like put that down. I wasn't thinking of doing the 7. I was just trying to do, I was originally thinking I was going to do like backside rodeo, like tantrum to blind off of it was my original thought. That wasn't working. So I'm like, oh, I'll start doing wrap spins off of it. I was doing wrap 3s. The way it was kicking me, it was just putting me into 5 really easy. As I was edging in for that one, I was like, oh, I'm going to go 7. So it was a split second decision. Put down the 7. Like
That was the one.
That was the one. Yeah. It wasn't the plan. It wasn't the plan to like do this trick for my ender or anything. And it was just like, it just happened.
Yeah.
So later that day, Randall's coming into town. I had the whole thing set up as well. And we pick up Randall on the dock, and he only had one day to be in town to shoot. And I had the thing set up on the boat, and I'm like really kind of jonesing it, Rod. I'm like, dude, like I want to get this shot done. Like, can we please shoot this thing? Like, I got it set up. Like, and it's never been a thing where I'm like, oh, Randall's in town. Like, I want to take the main focus here. Like, he's obviously always the one that should get to go when it's his time. We pull up, we're like pulling out for Orwood. You got to go under these pipes in the back. We pull up to the boat as we're going by, and Randall goes, hey, what's this thing? And I'm like, this is my like pole jam boat. And I was like, I got it set up. And he's like, oh, let's shoot this. Like, you take it. So Randall was on shore for my cover shoot where I got a cover of Alliance for it, holding the flash. My wife's holding the flash from the boat, and then Rod shot the shot from the water. So it ended up being a cover. Randall didn't ride on that one, but that was just like a pretty cool story where it's like he came into town, like, you know, I was able to, you know, step up and get the shot that I wanted to get. It ended up being a cover. You know, always grateful for him to be like, I'd be able to take a back seat on there and kind of, he drove all the way up from SoCal. He probably drove 7 hours and didn't wakeboard.
Yeah.
But then we got the shot and he's like, man, that was super sick that you got that photo. Like, rad, part of the crew. Like,
holding the flash. Like, just, I'm here for it. Here for the squad. That's so sick. You got an all-time favorite Randall part?
I mean, Natural Born Thrillers is definitely, that's it. His ender for Al Sur, like I was there for all of that. Like I watched that section. It's so good. Like so good. Like just the intensity, the song choice, just everything he put down on it was just super good.
What's the vibe on the boat when he's riding? Because it's different. It's such high speed, and obviously I haven't been on there, but like it's such high speed, long rope length. I don't think he typically ever wore a vest. Like it feels like it's a different level of.
Yeah, it is.
Energy.
We'd have to weight the boats differently because they're hopping at that speed. If you got all the weight in the back, like that boat starts porpoising as it's going down. So you got to weight it differently. The thing's just pinned. It's loud because the motor's like ripping. A lot of times, like he was riding for Axis at the time, so he'd bring up his 24, and he would just have that thing slammed, and scary to be chase boat driving, scared to be driving. Like, it's on this other level, so it's pretty crazy. And then he would kind of pick and choose his times of when he's gonna ride. So he was out there for all the shoots. If he's in town, like he's on the boat, he's helping, he's driving, he's doing all this stuff. Like was always hyped on everyone else's ride and like, throwing props out there and just like keeping the vibe high. So like, getting a Randall compliment is like, oh dude, that was sick. Like,
hold on to that one.
Yeah.
Did you go to the memorial in California?
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to, you touch on that because it looked.
Yeah, sure.
It looked awesome.
Yeah, I ended up flying out the morning of. I had some flight delays, so I pulled up a couple hours after it was going. So I pulled up right as they were doing one ceremony on the water there, and then I saw Ricky G ride, which is
that was sick,
dude. I mean, he's 50. Like, and
couldn't tell.
Dude, yeah, went out there like he's always been super clutch in his wakeboarding and like being able to put down the trick in the time. And being a really good contest rider, like I rode with him a bunch as well throughout the years.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him in like 10 years. But yeah, for him to just go out there and put down those 3 chicks, like iconic trips for him, put down 3 double ups in a row, like it was just crazy to watch. Like, goosebumps just like thinking about it again. And then, so Trever was driving the boat. He didn't know Ricky was going to be doing double ups at all. So Trevor's driving the boat. He thinks he's just going to be doing passes back and forth and driving it. Trevor's like, oh, dude, I haven't drove like after the fact, he's like, I haven't drove double ups in years. Like, I have the camera in my hand. I'm not driving double ups. I'm filming double ups. So he's just like, oh yeah, you come back here and, throw a figure 8 or tee me up over here. And Trevor's like, all right, how cool, dude. So yeah, Trever lined it up, like, muscle memory does double ups out, and Ricky put him down. So it was, it was crazy to watch that go down. Really cool to see everyone that came out for it. Like, I don't think that group of people will ever get together again for any type of reason. There's no other industry things going on, but to have that many people show up in support of that, and it was good to see everyone in that sense, and just the timeline of people that came out for it. Like there was tons of people that I haven't seen in decades as well, where I'm like, oh man, it was great to see you guys, and that was cool.
An awful thing, obviously, but you can take any positives from it. It's everybody got together, and obviously I think the GoFundMe's still up for his daughter, so obviously that'll be in the link below. But it's it was I just kind of wanted to hear about that because from the outside looking in, it was like, man, this looks like a cool moment. And Ricky G riding was just like so sick. And then I think you guys like drug the handle behind the boat for a bit, and it was just like,
I rolled up right when they were doing that. I'm just like, dang man, like it's just so heavy, like such a heavy thing to be a part of and see it. And man, dude, what a loss for the wakeboard community with him, and then Bob as well. Like this year, like both those guys were, in dog days. Like my good buddy Cody at the time, we all lived at his house for the whole summer. So every single person in dog days lived in the same house for that movie. We shot it for a year and a half, but then the end of it was like, all right, we're going to film to the end of summer. Everyone's in this house. So every single person in the movie lived in that house.
That's cool.
So it was awesome. Like, to look back in it in those times where, just all time there.
The best bonding.
Yeah, so good.
It's probably some crazy antics and shit.
All the
sure.
shenanigans were insane.
Dude, we were talking with Parks and Shane. They were like, we went through on the Christmas one, just like their favorite memories of Randall and Bob. And dude, that's some good shit they were saying, man. Like,
I bet.
It was so funny. And, Bob's like, I guess a quieter guy. And it was just, some of the shit they were saying was too funny. So yeah, we did lose two massive people in the wakeboard world, which is shitty, but, I don't want to, I guess, dwell on it too much, but it was nice to pick your brain. So thank you for sharing all that, and especially the experience you had out in California.
Yeah,
so.
I love those guys.
All right, let's dive into some videos. So before we get into some other video parts, let's talk Field TV, because you were in some of the Field TV stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of run through that, because that was a big thing back in the day.
It was big. It was super cool to like be a part of a core television show at the time, and like Field TV, you had to like. I don't know if you had to subscribe to it or like you had to buy the Field TV package or like a sports channel package, and then it was part of it. But that was like industry standard at the time, and like Field was the action sports channel, and then Alliance was the one that got had the pool show, lack of better words, but so they were the one making the episodes for it. And then being in California with the crew that I was with at the time, like Aaron Aubrey, Daniel Dowd, Mike Sweeney, there's Garrett Morris, Chris Dykman. There was, a bunch of people that were, considered pro at the time in California. And then the guys from Alliance approaching us, like, hey, we want to do some California road trip episodes. Was one of them. And then one of the other episodes I was a part of was down in Mexico. Kyle Murphy had a place in Rio Harde. So we did a trip down to Mexico, down to Kyle's place.
Damn.
Yeah.
Sick. What's the vibe like filming for Field TV? I mean, is it like kind of chill and relax, or like what's energy?
Yeah, it's pretty chilled and relaxed. Like there was definitely like an itinerary of like what we're going to do. We're going to go at these stops. We're just going to film along the way. Gosh, there's a couple guys for Alliance. Josh, I'm forgetting his last name, but it was like he got hired. It was his first like gig on the job. So they're like, oh, you work for Alliance. We're going to fly you to California and film this. It was like his first time, like, I don't even know if it was the first time like holding a camera. But, there was
throw you to the dogs.
There was some rookies on the thing as well as with us. But one of the episodes, it started like at my home lake. So everyone stayed at my parents' house and like had us everyone in town, and it was just pretty cool to like be like, all right, cool, we're gonna be filming for Field TV now and at my house and going to my home lake, and just kind of, it was a road trip through California and just kind of stopping at all the spots where we went to. So it would actually, it started at Daniel's place down in like Central California. The guys drove up from Alliance, picked him up, drove to my house. Then we drove out to Lake McClure, which is where Sweeney had his camps and houseboat. That was 2 hours from there. Rode there for a few days, then went to the Delta. So that was kind of the stretch of that one.
Yeah, super sick.
Yeah.
Cool memories doing that, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, let's talk. I mean, let's go dog days, because I got a lot to ask on dog days. So, great part, obviously. Very good song too, and all flows super well. Shout out Trever for all the editing on that. But you rock open toe boots in this part. I don't know if it's for the entire thing, but it's for a good amount of it.
Yeah, I was on Liquid Force at the time. Why did I do those boots? They were the most flexible boots at the time of their line. So I tried a bunch of boots. I wasn't necessarily particular to open toe boots, but those were the entry level ones. And then
that's so sick though.
And then Bob Sovin at the time, his boots were open toe.
Yeah, he had an open toe
boot
model, yeah.
So I just did what was ever the most flexible thing because I wanted my boot to move. I didn't want to be restricted on my grabs in the way I pull the board to like feel any resistance there.
Interesting.
Another thing I would do, started doing it during that movie era, was I'd bake my boots in the oven. So I'd put them at like 150, 160 degrees and then just peel all the layers back and then just put them in there just to kind of break down the material a little bit.
Interesting.
And then pull them out, stomp them around, like make sure the boot would be like this, that could flop and hit the board each way.
So you don't want a whole lot of anything going on.
No, I mean, I grew up riding just the traditional wrap bindings.
Yeah.
And I didn't want any like restrictions there. If I wear stiff boots and, you know, I got to do a tail grab and it doesn't move the way, I'm just like,
this is trash.
Garbage.
Get this out of here.
Yeah.
Do you think that maybe the open toe boot should get a little bit more shine? Like, I feel like it gets dogged for like, it's like if you got an open toe boot, like that's not you can't wakeboard at a even decently high level in that boot. But like, I feel like maybe,
I mean, I don't think so. I think it's more just like just kind of evolution of boot and what it looks like on a board. So people just are like, oh, you're going to cover your whole toes, where at one point it wasn't the case.
Yeah. I kind of want to try open toes now.
Yeah.
I haven't ridden in forever.
Let's go bake some boots for you.
It kind of feels like it'd be fun, kind of free, you know, like feel the water on your feet a little bit and you can tweak, poke, grab. I don't know. Because Sweeney, like, he still rides fucking boots from the 50s, 40s?
Dude, he was getting like material, like he was just getting layers of rubber and then cutting out his molds of his boot and like making his own wraps.
No way.
Yeah.
That's so sick. It works. It definitely works for him because he can. I mean, that's how you're getting your knee to touch your board is with bindings and boots like that.
Yeah, for sure.
You're not doing that in some closed-toed stiffies.
No, I mean, there's definitely hacks as well to the tuck knee.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I would always, my lower lace on my boot, I would pull that lace out, make that thing fully loose and my foot's rolling in there. Trever would just, on his systems that he was riding, he would just have it 1 or 2 clicks. So his strap is like this and his boot is in there. So his boot's tucking.
Yeah, rolling in there.
Twelker as well, like he would undo his top lace and he would cinch his heel up. So he's edging into the wake with his heel like this. So not even touching his, the base plate of the boot there.
Damn.
So he pulls his heels up.
Yeah.
So you can see it like on some of his clips in some of the movies. If you go back on it, like he'll cut out. You might not see him like adjust his lace, but he'll shimmy his leg back and forth a little. So he's pulling his heel up, going in, knowing that he's going to do some sort of tuck knee thing.
Damn. West Coaster's got some hacks in that thing.
Yeah, we like to hack the boots.
I like that. I like that. Yeah. I mean, that's what the gear's there for. It's to be used and experimented with. All right. So you've got some 3-2-1s in this part. And I would say they are things of beauty. And specifically, we were talking earlier about kind of the lack of tension, I would say, on some of the tricks and spins and grabs you do. And this is something I specifically noticed last night when I was watching this part before we even talked about it, because you'll go and you'll do a wrap 3-1 and you'll have like no tension throughout the spin. And then when you go to do the rewind, you like yank the handle, it snaps, and then you do the 180 at like the last second and it pops back. And I mean, just kind of dive into that whole, like all of that, because it's super fascinating.
I don't know if it's anything like I ever like planned on doing, but just kind of the way my riding evolved and the way my rotations were always kind of like free floating and like, all right, you're going to get this grab and emphasize the poke and the grab and hold it. And just the way I came into my wrap tricks, and then I would pull really hard on the small handle to like initiate my spin. But when doing that, I think I was advancing myself towards the boat a lot. So I'd hit either, the wake or the double up, but I'd pull really hard on that, but then also just stop and free float the spin. I went like, continue on to 5 or 7 really fast. Yeah. So I think that's kind of how it evolved in that way, to where I'd advance myself towards the boat, and then it wasn't awkward for me to not have tension, where I feel like a lot of people on a wakeboard want tension the entire time, and they're like, you need tension through this spin and through this flipper rotation to control where you're at. But I would just kind of hang on that spot realizing that it's going to come around and I'll eventually drift out the back and then snap into it. And then once I kind of started, like, I didn't say inventing the rewind, but I was one of the first people to start doing it there. I was just able to spin into it a certain direction and my rope would catch. And then I was like, oh, I can pause at this point. And I think I was like spinning into the threes, grabbing Indy. And I just felt this point where it was like, oh, the rope caught. I'm still holding on.
I got it every time still.
Yeah, I can go the other direction there.
Yeah.
So, forget, there was a web edit that actually had my first rewind on it. I'll try and think of what it was for. It was like on a website that was only around for a few years.
Okay.
Nick Jones was in the boat at the time. He was in town filming for it. Tyler Trent filmed it. I can think of the exact set in the moment.
Yeah, if you can find that though, like send it over
it's
to me later, I'll
behind.
put it in.
Josh was writing for Mastercraft at the time. It was behind their like X20 or X22 or whatever he was writing. But yeah, I'll go back and think of. Gosh, it was some one-off. It was Wake something was the website.
Classic.
Yeah.
Let's talk the line because we kind of touched on it earlier, where you have I think it's Indy toe back one, and then do like a half cap Japan off the kicker, and then a heel back one Indy as well. I think I got that right.
Yep. Yeah.
I guess where's the inspo for this? Because like you said earlier, we were talking about it. It's like you do the wake hit and then bam, kicker out of nowhere, and then another wake hit. And personally, I love that because it's like boat riding. I'm not gonna say you can get stale, but like you're just hitting the wake over and over and over. And when you throw in these weird things, like in I think Scumline, Josh Twelker like cuts around a buoy like at the perfect moment and then goes in for wake jump, and like these weird random things add a lot, I think, to like the viewing experience. So like, yeah, where was the inspiration to put that kicker in and do the line?
Man, I think I want to say I don't necessarily know exactly where it came from, but I remember watching some sort of clip. I want to say it was even a mountain bike clip where they're filming direct like side chase on it, and the rider was going through, and then just all these different objects were kind of coming into the frame on it. So I think that's where I got the idea of just like, all right, I want to film directly side chase and then just have the object come through it. My other idea that didn't actually pan out on that is I wanted to have a double up come into the frame and have a different boat at the end of the line drive across. And so I was going to do the tricks and then out of nowhere, boom, double up, like side chase version like that.
That'd have been sick.
So, and there's a couple other ideas that are similar to that never happened, but I wanted to actually do this big production where you run boats across each other a bunch of different ways, have it all filmed side chase, so you're going double up, like hitting, it looks like these massive like jumps all in a row, where you don't see any chase boat or any double up. There's no turnaround. You're directly driving through it. Like,
I always thought that was so cool. Like Eric Ruck and I were watching a movie last night. I forget what it was, but it was super old school, and they had a separate boat driving the double up. This was like when before towers and stuff. But like, I just thought that was so cool. It's just so like, there's no setup; it just comes out of nowhere, and you're like, boom, there's a double up. And if you did like 3 in a row, it's like,
totally
so sick. So
so I think just like shots like that, we definitely were always like thinking of how we want our angles to look on the trick, on these different things. So I think that just kind of like evolved from just always talking about it.
And it shows because it's the effort that goes behind it shows. It may just be one clip, one line, but like that sticks out so much more than all the other stuff that's just kind of put in. So it's like, and lines on wakeboarding, I guess behind the boat, they're common, but like they're uncommon when you involve other stuff. So it's it's fast.
And I mean, the kicker just showed up, so it was like, all right, the kicker's back. Like,
it's back, baby.
Let's go.
It's meant to be. All right, let's talk Alcer. You got any good stories from Alcer? Filming Alcer down there?
Oh, where do you want to start?
You tell me, I guess, man. I wasn't there, so.
Man, there's so many from Alcer. Like, I mean, Trever obviously talked about it at first, but it started off as just a web edit of him going to Mexico to go film this web edit with Chad Lowe. Evolved into, my opinion, one of the greatest wakeboard movies of all time. Getting flown to Mexico on someone else's dollar and to have it all mapped out for you of, hey, we're going to fly to Mexico. We're going to be in this part of the country for this amount of time. Like, all you have to do is wakeboard. Like, you're not paying for gas, you're not filling up the boat. Like, all that stuff was taken care of. Like, was pretty awesome, right? Like, and then it was this kind of ongoing thing that just happened for 2 years, and we're like, okay, like, we're making a full length movie now. Like, we're going down here. All these writers are coming together. More writers are getting added on the movie. I actually wasn't a part of the movie at first. It was Trever going down to Mexico like for 6 or 8 months, and then it evolved into the movie. And I'm like, Trever, like, get me in this thing. Like
tap me in, dude. I'm ready.
Let's go. He's like, oh, I'll talk to him. You know, it's this crew at this point. I'm like, yeah, but like, let me know when I can come into Mexico. So Renee and Priscilla are the ones that were backing the movie down there. Like, super great people. Like, amazing host down there. Had the thing fully dialed. Like, Mexico is not a safe country to visit in general, right? So my first time going down there, we're going to I'll think of Valle de Bravo, so the high mountain lake that we shot at there. So I've met Chris-O 1 or 2 times, maybe like Surf Expo or something before that. So it was me and Chris-O flying into Mexico City, never like really hung out or anything. It's like, all right, you're going to fly here. You're going to meet Chris-O in Mexico City. Someone is going to pick you up and then drive you to Valle de Bravo. Valle de Bravo is 4 hours away from Mexico City. So I pull up there. I'm sitting just outside the airport for an hour, and I'm like, okay, like, hopefully someone comes and gets me. Out of nowhere, Chris-O walks up, and I'm like, oh, like, there's Chris-O, like, and cool, like, I know someone in Mexico. So we hang out for a bit. We're just sitting there, and then someone just comes up with like a paper sign, says like, Derek Cook or Soche, like, come with us. Like, okay, neither of us speak Spanish. I speak a little bit, not really.
Yeah.
So we jump in this guy's car, and he just starts driving. We're like, oh, we need to like get food. Like, we tell the guy, oh, we need to eat food. And so we pull off some gas station food, get some beers. We're hanging out there, drive all the way up there. Takes, 5 hours to get there, finally show up, and it's like Trever and Josh and Renee and these guys are there, and finally get to meet everyone, and then wake up the next morning and just like this beautiful scenic lake, like high mountain. Looks like you're in a volcano in Mexico. Yeah. And then like Renee's got G23's the time best boat, like lined up for us to ride. Like, everything's taken care of. It was like super sick to like, for one, to ride with Chris-O for the first time. Like, he's insane at wakeboarding. And then just like riding with Josh and Trever, who I'd ride with all the time, like us riding on that trip, like, was just such a cool vibe, like, on that one. And then it just more and more trips just kept coming from there. We were there for like almost 2 weeks on that one. And then another section was in Monterrey, Mexico. That was where Renee and Priscilla lived close to there. So that was kind of their home lake and what got them into wakeboarding. Okay. I flew down there a couple different times, just me and Trever, to go film, which is funny. In the section in El Sur, it's me, Trever, and Josh. I was never in Mexico with Josh, but we shared the section, right?
That's interesting.
Yeah. So just because, that's our crew and that like flowed good for the movie, like that's the way Trever edited it. But yeah, I wasn't in Mexico with Josh.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Trever had some wild stories of Mexico. 'Cause he was there for obviously the entirety of it.
Yeah.
So
like him and Rod, like
crazy shit.
Like those guys are cats in Mexico. They should have died 9 different times. Like
that's what Trever and Rod were both saying. They're like, that's one glad we.
Those guys never need to go back to Mexico again.
They've
tapped it out. They've used all their lives there.
What were you gonna say?
Oh yeah, and then let's see, Bacalar was the last spot, like the Blue Lake, kind of the intersection, and that's everyone came to that spot like over. I think it was close to like 2 months. So it was like everyone was down there. Danny, Randall, JD, Rathy, like everybody, whole crew was there in and out for whenever the amount of time you could be there. So like come down here. That was super sick just to have everyone together on it. It was obviously a lineup of 12, 14 wakeboarders all trying to film a part at the same exact time was like, you know, you got to pick and choose. Oh, it was like, all right, you're going to be on this day, you're off type deal. So you just kind of got to go with the flow. Like everyone's helping out. It was never like, you know, no one was ever like, oh, pushing like, oh, I have to ride more here. Like it was, all right, we got the
flowed
time.
nicely.
Yeah, flowed nicely. There was definitely a few boat problems off and on throughout the whole thing. A boat would break and like Renee would send a boat off somewhere and get one sent back, and, you know, just orchestrating the whole entire thing on it. But that actually backed up from Via de Bravo to Bacalar was like a week and a half break or something for like the first crew that was in Via to Bacalar. So me, Chriso, Trever, Josh, and then my wife Lisa actually flew in for it, but it was cheaper for them to fly us to Cancun for like a week.
I remember Trev saying that you guys went partied or something.
Yeah, so it's cheaper for them to fly us to Cancun for a week than fly back to the States and then fly back down.
Yeah, fair enough.
So put us over there, put us up in an all-inclusive for a week. We just vacation partied, like all-inclusive hotel, and then went down to Bacalar from there. So like to have someone like treat you basically like a rock star.
Yeah, seriously.
On this, and then be able to, you know, put out some of, you know, it was some of my best wakeboarding, like just in general of where I was at with it. But just to have that type of vibe and that type of like, you know, someone putting you up on that pedestal of like, oh, you are important, you are doing this. You know, we want you to be in this like great state of it. Like I felt helped out so much with the movie. So.
Yeah, it definitely seemed from talking to Trev and not talking to you too. It was just like for Trev, maybe a little more sketchy than like Rockstar vibes, but like still
so sketchy.
Very cool how it all like worked out and came together. And you're right with saying like one of the best wakeboard movies for sure. And I think one of the best that like a lot of people still haven't seen, probably because it's not online. I'm like 99% sure.
No, it ran on Union only at the time.
Yeah.
And that was, you know, Chris O was running Union, and you know, a lot of us had some hands in Union at the time there. But yeah. And then Renee was trying to back Union as well. So after all that, like that kind of evolved a little more. But yeah, it only ran on Union. It's not online. It's only on the box set now.
Which you can get. I'm 99% sure you can still get. Trev still has like the box set up online.
Yeah, he threw a post out the other day.
I'll put the link below because that's a great triple threat right there to have.
Yeah,
definitely.
Just go pick up a DVD player somewhere.
Yeah, they're cheap. I mean,
Someone the other day was like, "Oh, I'd get it, but I don't have a DVD player." Like,
bro, $10 probably.
You're gonna spend $20 on the movie. Go buy the $10 DVD player.
Yeah, easy. And then you have
plug it in.
All these other movies you could watch. All right, let's talk Prime. So this was, I mean, not probably one of the last movies you were in, or was it towards? I mean, I don't know what came out after Prime that.
I think
like big time production movie.
I mean, we filmed Dog Days and Scumline after the fact there.
Okay.
But yeah, one of the bigger ones of, you know, in the industry.
Yeah, both Dog Days and Scumline were big productions, so that's true. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyways,
But on that scale of you know, doing that big of a movie
helicopters,
with helicopters.
And shit,
you know, just filming with Kilgus in general was like pretty awesome. Like he was obviously the standard of person putting out the wake movies, and just his you know, vision, the look, and just being able to say, oh, I was a part of one of those movies with him was pretty awesome. So
yeah, Prime and Defy were definitely. I mean, people love him or hate him, but like you can't deny they're the two of the biggest wakeboard movies to be made.
Yeah,
sure, in terms of just like exposure, views, all that stuff. So
yeah, and just, you know, the amount of time and effort and like vision that Kilgus had on those was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So, and you know, obviously everyone was in on Prime, and that's kind of where he was, you know, was like, I want everyone who's doing the best in wakeboarding to be shown in this film, and he was trying to put out his version of a best wakeboard movie. So
yeah, definitely
for him to include us at the time felt pretty awesome, because we were obviously still just trying, you know, always felt like we were just trying to make it, and we're in our own little bubble over here in California of a certain amount of riders at any given time, which at the time was me, Josh, Trever, Schweeney's always part of it as well. But, you know, in the Delta, that was our kind of core crew there. But yeah, he came out for 10 days, and there was a whole itinerary of what to do and where to go. And, everyone was trying to put out the best possible section and did what we could at the time with it. So
absolutely, I like that section in not in Dog Days, in Prime for sure. That and the Dowdy and Harley section I like at the end too.
Yeah. Well, everyone had heavy bangers in it, and that was what he's going for. So
yeah, for sure, definitely a lot of variety in that movie too. Because I'm just thinking like the Lake Ronick stuff was there too, and like you got Pratt in there. So yeah, it's all sorts of variety. Like you said, I guess like all the people in wakeboarding at that time that were like heavy hitters and getting after it was in that movie. So. All right, I think we shift gears a little bit and do a segment presented by Slingshot called Slings Hot Takes. So we've got 9 hot takes, I guess you could say here, and they're kind of meant to be a little bit rapid fire, but if you want to elaborate on any of them, you can feel free to. So we got the first one, which is are blunts real on a wakeboard?
Yes.
Okay. Best wakeboard movie?
Ever.
Yeah. Ever. One. You get one.
Man, one is so hard.
It's
really hard to just pick one because it's a deep category of them at this point.
There's eras too and stuff. So, but you got to pick one. These are the rules.
Yeah,
and not your favorite wakeboard movie, the best wakeboard movie.
Well, if it's my opinion, then it is my favorite. And that's all debatable.
What do we got? What's coming to mind?
I mean, Mayday's always a classic. That was the first one where I'm like, wow, this is legit, right? Yeah. And that's something that I just replayed over and over and over. Natural Born Thrillers is definitely up there. I guess I'll go Natural Born Thrillers.
Okay. That's I don't think anybody would have a strong argument against that.
It's so iconic, and Randall's part is just insane. And just
good answer. Yeah. All right. If there was one rider you could bring back into the game, who would it be and why? From their prime is kind of
from their prime. Yeah. Man, there's a lot on that because it just so many people obviously just get into other things or life happens. You did your wakeboard thing for a little bit and now you're on to your next thing. People, I guess one person I always had a blast riding with was Aaron Aubrey.
Yeah.
And when he chose, I guess he got a job and he was just told his sponsors, I'm done wakeboarding professionally. I still rode with him for many years after that fact, but man, it was just really cool to ride with him. He emulated Randall's riding. Obviously, no one, does the exact same, but at the time, everybody rode at 26 miles an hour on the West Coast. You're riding at least 85 feet, if not longer.
Damn.
And you're trying to go into the flats. He was doing big double grabs in the flats, all directions, massive double ups. Hitting double ups at that speed is intense.
Damn.
So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. If it's plastic, is it a handrail?
No.
All right.
No, it's plastic.
Is skinny stance actually better or is it just a trend?
I don't know if it's better or worse. It's its own thing. And I also don't think it's a trend at this point.
True.
Because it started, right, with Dylan started.
I think Dylan a lot
was
of
on the
people
forefront of that one. And then
put him as the poster
Wes
child.
is obviously, those guys all rock that.
Yeah.
That look up there, but it works for what they're doing and how they ride their wakeboards.
Yeah.
So, trend now. Would I do it? I would just feel ridiculous, standing on a wakeboard like that and then trying to do that.
Yeah.
Just because it's not what I've done.
To each their own, for sure.
Yeah, to each their own. So,
okay. All right.
I dig it. I love how it looks and the way those guys are able to jib around on the rails and
snap it around.
Yeah, and the stuff Wes and Quinn and Derry does where they're hanging a board still on the water on the rail and up on the grass.
Yeah.
It's sick. It's needed in wakeboarding.
Super sick.
I'm pumped the way they've taken it.
All right. I like that answer. Should pros be allowed to ride without a vest and helmet?
I mean, it's kind of a thing that's obviously on the debatable part. I never do it. I've known people that have drowned from wakeboarding or friends of friends, so I would never do that myself. And then I guess the influence of the next generation, like, you don't want to like do something that will possibly kill someone, right? The helmet thing, I guess if you're putting yourself out there, again, at the cable parks, you got to run them because it's their insurance and all that.
Yeah.
And then, I guess comparing it to pro skateboarding, those guys are hitting gnarly handrails. They're not wearing helmets. Their heads smashing concrete. Like, that's a self thing on it. But, and also on the other hand, like, I grew up watching people without vests. I thought it was really cool and core, and looked rad to be like, kind of surf-ish vibe.
Yeah.
Where you're like running no vest and just like doing it.
Just you, the board, in the water.
Yeah, like I thought it looked cool, but I never did it myself.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I think good answer.
Yeah.
Is a video part from a wake park considered a part?
I think a full part's more than just an edit, and if that's what you're into and what you're doing, and that's how you portray your best version of wakeboarding, it can be. But I think an edit or a full part is more than just like, oh, I'm going to go shoot the cable for this few weeks and then put it all together.
Yeah.
You may be really good at wakeboarding and you may have a ton of sick clips that go into it, but full part's like thought out, and it's like, at least for me, like I've had, laundry lists of tricks and dream shots, and like, I'm going to shoot it from this angle and I want this trick to be grabbed here, and we're going to go shoot this thing in this location. And it's like, it's a thought out process of I'm going to put it out there. And for anyone that hasn't actually done a full part for themselves, like, for one, it's really like trying on yourself, because it's like you're setting a high standard, right, that you want to do. I've never put out a part and felt fully satisfied with it, because I'm, I guess, a perfectionist on that end. Like, I'm happy with my part and like really excited. And, you get someone like, oh, like that part was really sick. Yeah, thank you. Like, I put a lot of time and effort, blood, sweat, and tears in this one. But yeah, I think going back to the question, which was,
is a video part from a wake park considered a part?
Yeah, if that's what you're into and that's what you ride, like, I think it can be, but I think it's more than just a quick edit. Like,
I think that's a good take on it. Like, it can be.
Yeah, it can be, but put 6 months or a season into it and then drop it at the end of the season of your bangers.
Yeah.
And don't just like,
and the clips shouldn't have been seen elsewhere before.
Yeah, don't release them.
Rule.
Make it to where it's like this awe-inspiring moment that you're proud of, even if you're proud of it, and then also like hold on to it. Like, that has meaning to like sit on a part and then put it all out.
100% does. Yeah, for sure. The most illegal trick in wakeboarding,
like ones that no one should ever do.
Yeah. And this isn't like Tindy or like a Z. This is like, I don't know. I don't want to put ideas in your head, but like most illegal trick,
like a fashion air.
Yeah, you could go that. You could go that route.
That's for just kind of goofing off type.
Yeah,
no one's actually gonna put.
No one's doing it seriously.
Yeah. Besides Thomas, because he does 3 of them in 1 year.
The trip, has he done a quad yet?
I don't know.
I don't think he has.
He's big into 3s, so
he is big into 3s for sure. Maybe we'll see a quad or a double, triple. All right, hot take. Last one. Any hot take you got?
I think with opinion here, but hot take on contests. If you're doing contest runs and you're not grabbing your board and you're at a pro level, your score should just get ripped. Like, it should get knocked in half. Like, if you're doing your 9 and it's not grabbed, like, or even if you can grab your 9 and you miss it, like, that's a misgrab. Like, if you're in a snowboard contest and you're just like, oh, I'm going to do this double cork and like hang my arm out to the side, or you're going to
grab my knee or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
And then I guess on top of that, like, landings should be bolts as well. Like, if you're missing a landing, or say you did whatever and then you butt check it real quick, like, that's gone. That's like,
is a butt check a 0? Like, it's not a land, like a full on.
In my opinion, it's not landing the trick. you continue to wakeboard.
Sure.
You're holding onto the handle and you get another try. But if you're in a judged state, then you should be judged on what you do.
And that's not something you did. You landed on your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah. No argument from either of those here. You're preaching in the choir right now. I love that. All right. So great section from Slingshot. So thank you for those questions from the crew. I think we dive into a Patreon question. We got one from Josh Boyle. So thank you to everybody on the Patreon. Your guys' support is what keeps this podcast going. If you guys want to see who the guests are early, go ahead and join the Patreon. You guys can submit questions. So he's wondering, when a rider is dominant in competitions, they are often accused of not having style. So which pro who was dominant in competitions also had the best style in your opinion?
Danny Harf.
There you go.
End of sentence.
We got a couple other Patreon ones here. These two are just compliments, I guess. We got one from Fletcher Huberts that says, no questions, just tell bro he's 20 years ahead of the game. We got one from Alex Albach. He says, also no question, just tell Cooksey I miss coming over to his house for coffee.
Yeah, man, he needs to fly back.
He does, dude. He's got to come back to the States.
Yeah. Yeah, he would come in, he'd stay at Taylor McCullough's house on the lake, which across from me there. So
yeah.
Like, oh, sweet, Alex is down. Come over for coffee.
Yeah. German connection there. That's good. All right, we got another one from Garrett Cortez, and he's wondering, how many Groms became full-time pros after riding behind your classic yellow or red X-Stars?
Gotta
think about this one.
Yeah, that's, he might be referring to like the up-and-coming trips from Alliance. That was when they would take a bunch of the up-and-coming Groms and then do a week out at Schweeney's place, and then kind of, to me, it was kind of like a crash course on, like kind of intro into, video and photos and being part of the magazine. So there was a bunch of different groups that would come out, stay on Schweeney's houseboat, and we would, film them. They would get a write-up in the magazine there, and then they would also do like a video section on it. So there was, I think, 3 or 4 years that they would do that trip, and then Garrett would invite me out every year to be a part of it, where we would have my boat there and Schweeney's boat, and then we were pulling all the Groms and just being out there, week on the lake out in California, Big Mountain Lake, and it was always really cool to be a part of on that sense of it.
Hell yeah. He's also wondering if you have any good rod stories to share.
Yes.
He said he doesn't want to type into anyone. He says take it wherever you want, because he said, I feel like there's more than enough.
Oh, man. Yeah, that one put me on the spot and kind of blanked me right now.
Yeah, well, it's tough because if you have a ton to choose from, it's like, oh, I don't know where to go now.
I mean, there's so many, and there's like, they're all good. Like, he's the type of person where he's in the room and he's, hyping everyone up, and like, honestly, like the coolest guy to have in your corner, right? Like, super knowledgeable with the camera, expert at that, like knows exactly what he wants and what he's looking for, and will tell you. Man, stories.
If you need time to think of one,
let me see if I can run it back. But it's with Rodrigo. If he's with you, it's always a good time. And
I feel like you can't spend a good amount of time with Rod and just not come away with a story from it of some capacity.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a good one.
Yeah,
I'm sure they'll come about.
Yeah, something will come about.
There's multiple, of just being on the boat with him and staying at his house and traveling, and I'm trying to think of like a one that stands out. We'll get there.
We'll get there. Last one from Garrett. He had quite a few here. He's wondering, have you ever laughed harder than the time that you came up with the idea for a tripwire for Big Spence on Schweeney's houseboat?
Oh man, that's such a great story.
I got to hear this one because I don't know.
Did Garrett's hasn't told this one?
No, he hasn't told this one that I've talked with him quite a bit, and he hasn't told this one.
All right, so this is on one of the Alliance up and coming trips. Let's see who was on that. I know Rob Jakes was on it. Big Spence was shooting photos, as well as Garrett. Gosh, so we're on the boat into the evening, having some beers, drinking, eating dinner. Spence sends it a little too far. He gets, he's blacked out at this point, right? He passes out in the middle of the houseboat. Rhett's on this trip as well. Rhett grabs a Sharpie and just starts coloring all over Big Spence, like head to toe, like
not
face.
like a little mustache, just a full.
Well, it started mustache, but this is, he's passed out for 2 hours, and we're drinking and then coloring on Spence is the activity. So, 2 hours later, he's just black and red, green tattooed, like his whole face, his whole body. So that's the activity that night, right? Everyone sleeps on the top of Sweeney's houseboat because you're sleeping under the stars. You're in the middle of nowhere. It's awesome out. At some point, we get the idea, let's, Big Spence is going to come up. Let's tie some wakeboard ropes from one side to the other real low and, call him upstairs and tell him to come up here. So we tie up this wakeboard rope across, knee high or whatever. And then we're like, okay, we don't want him to just land on the ground. So Sweeney had all these mattresses and beanbag chairs and all. So let's stack a bunch of these right on the other side of the tripwire to where, he comes up, he runs over, he just hits the pillow. It'd be funny. We get Spence to climb up there, and we're calling him up there, or I don't know why, but he comes up and he just starts running. And we're like, oh gosh, like he's going to like hit really hard.
He's going to clear the padding.
Right. So he comes up, he trips the thing, misses every single pillow, just bam, smashes into the floor. And we're all hiding, like we're hanging off the side of the houseboat. It's dark, we're behind, there's big like dock boxes up there. We're hanging off the side. And we're all trying not to laugh like so bad, but we're just like dying inside. And all you hear from Spence is just, he's on the ground just going, because he's just like got the wind knocked out of him. And we're thinking he's going to get up and kill us, right? So we like all vacate. We like some people even jumped off that houseboat and swam to the next one. And but man, it was so funny to like.
I mean, respect for setting up the pillows. That's really good foresight.
We really tried.
If he's hauling ass into it, though, I mean, not much you can do. But damn, I can't imagine hitting an unknown tripwire. That's got to be just an awful,
it's pitch black.
He's probably still drunk or hung over his shit when he's running over it.
Well, even the next day, he wakes up and we see him on the back of his boat, like, he's scrubbing the stuff off his face. And like, we're like, oh gosh, he's still going to kill us because he's going to remember this. But he didn't ever bring it up. So I think he didn't. He was past the point and didn't ever
It's like it never happened to him. Okay. That's a great story.
Yeah, classic.
All right, let's talk you had a Matters article from Alliance. I don't know, this was maybe 15 years ago, 10 years ago or something. And you're talking about, I think this was when you were kind of turning 30 or around 30 and you're still wakeboarding, still doing it. And you kind of touch on something that I think is interesting to talk about, and it's kind of age in wakeboarding, because like you see in all action sports, I feel like everybody kind of perceives that there's this age that it's no longer are you going to be, competitive, whether that's contest wise or even competitive free riding or whatever, or getting magazines, photo shoots, videos or whatever. And you kind of, I don't want to say you like refuted that idea, but you more or less did. You're like, well, I feel great on the board. Like, I guess kind of dive into the age aspect of it. Cause you, like you said, you still ride, still hit double ups when you turn the boat around. Like, I like the idea that you don't age out of wakeboarding. It just might change a little bit, but like, I want you to kind of dive into that a little bit.
Yeah. Trying to think of that specific article, but, in general, if I was around 30, I also, won like most improved rider of the year that year from Alliance.
Sick.
Which was cool. And then that was actually my first cover I ever got was when I turned 30.
Damn.
So, and that was, the Alliance article where they did, on the Delta there. So, but yeah, at the time, like I felt like I was riding some of my best riding I've ever done. I was also losing sponsors because of that next generation kid coming up where they're like, oh, you've been doing this for so long. You've been here and doing it. We need to make room for the next person, even though like my content was still really high. I'm putting out video parts. I'm getting photos in the magazines.
Most improved.
I won these awards. Like, I'm continuing to like progress as well. So, and then I think why I continued to stay in it and wakeboard was also because I got into it really late. It was something that I found like, when I was like 14, right?
Yeah.
So I wasn't like, oh, I've been doing this my whole life, I need to do something else, or like, all right, that ran its course. And then I guess also like having the right crew around you, because I've obviously seen crews come and go, like being in the industry for that long and being in California, like multiple crews came and gone throughout while I was still there. And I was still hungry. I still wanted it. And then having Trever and Josh there, like really pushed me and kept me in on it, because they're like very hungry. They're very, very good. And it like, I don't know, just kept me going on it.
Yeah.
So
Kind of like a refreshing, like rotating course of like, all right, well, here's the new cats. They're keeping me just as much into it as I was before, motivating me. And like, I think it's cool getting motivation from like the next generation. Well, simultaneously, like maybe they're like going to start coming for your paychecks, I guess, in a certain point. Like, were you ever like unhappy about that, or was it just like you kind of saw? Like, I guess kind of what was your vibe?
Not necessarily unhappy about it, but it was just, I guess, strange to me for people that I like put all this like time and effort into being there, and then like, obviously life changes and you go down different paths and do different things. But yeah, I mean, when I got into it, I found the Delta, I found Josh and Darren, DR, and Rich, and those guys were at the tail end of what they were doing. Josh stuck around for a while longer, and then started hanging out with Aaron and Daniel a lot more. Like they were in the magazines a bunch and filming, and I'm like, okay, I want to do that. I want to be with these guys, and we clicked and got together. So we kind of toured around for 5-8 years or something, and then they moved on from wakeboarding, and then there was also a kind of a strange little gap where I felt like I was the only one doing it out there for a long time.
Yeah, touch on this, because we were talking off the pod about you, like you had like an era like almost riding alone, where it was like just
it
kind of
really felt like that for a few years. Like obviously people would come into town to shoot with Rod, and we were doing all that stuff, but there wasn't like a set crew for a while after Aaron and Daniel were kind of out of it, and then Josh Smith moved away. So it was like me on the Delta running my wakeboard school, and then shooting with Rodrigo when he wasn't busy in town, but then just finding like crew and homies to just be in the boat, to drive the boat, or like California, you have to have a third in the boat, right, to hold the flag. So you always kind of just need a person, even if they're not in the water. So there was definitely a strange little time where it's like, all right, like we're still doing this, but no one else is. But
how do you stay like motivated and like get like amped to ride? Is it just, I mean, obviously I love wakeboarding. Like it's purely fun, but
yeah. There's definitely always that love of wakeboarding and wanting to do it. I think obviously, I think a big part of it is just having Rodrigo there as well. Like where I'm staying on his couch when I'm in town. At the time before I lived in Discovery Bay, and I'm with him. Our motivation is to shoot photos and for me to get photo incentives and make a paycheck. That never changed for me. And then just, I guess, expanding where I was going or what I was doing with sponsors, and then like traveling a little bit more on it there. But yeah, definitely kind of a weird time frame to be
like
continuing to wakeboard.
Period.
Yeah, and that was, right around that time, and then like the 2008 recession thing kind of hit at that similar timing. So just weird in general. So I was like, all right, then I need to make
talk about a weird time to be wakeboarding alone, like quote unquote alone, but like in 2008 it's got to be like the industry was in a weird spot. You were kind of like not had crews around, so
and I just opened my first wakeboard school at that time, and then like in California with the recession, gas prices spiked like crazy.
Sick.
Like it was like $5.50 a gallon, right? So I was like, all right, cool. I'm gonna charge whatever $200 for this lesson for you guys. I'm gonna go spend $160 of it on gas. Like
that doesn't add up.
That was a wash.
That's not working.
That first year was a wash.
Let's talk about Fox, because you said it might be kind of interesting to talk about you getting on with Fox, because was it Todd Hicks that lived in that area that you were in as well? So kind of run through that situation.
Yeah, so I grew up in Gilroy, then Morgan Hill. Fox is out of Morgan Hill. And I always knew them that they were there and that they were big into wakeboarding, but I didn't know anyone within that company. I was on with Gator. I was on with O'Neill for a couple years at this point. I was getting like 2 ads a year with O'Neill, like getting ran in the magazine, getting a ton of other, shots in the magazine. And then like I was releasing at least a full length movie every year. So I thought I was doing my part with O'Neill. They had some like changes within their company. New people came in. They see the program. Oh,
tales old as time.
Yeah, there goes that, right? So got told I wasn't doing my job good. Like, we're ending this. Bummer situation, right? O'Neill was like, one of the bigger ones for me. Like, they were just over the hill in Santa Cruz, 40 minutes away from my house. Like, felt cool to like drive over the hill, hang out with the O'Neill guys, like, check out different wetsuit concepts and test stuff for them. So that kind of ended. A month later, I was riding with my buddy Mark Silva, who owned a bike shop in town. Met him like a year or two before that, just on the lake. He had a boat. I go out with him one day, not knowing this, and go out for a set and hanging out with this one guy on the boat. It ends up being John Fox, which is one of the Fox brothers. So they're tight. They're buddies. Mark rode mountain bikes professionally for Fox for a while, so they were just like homies at that point, right? So hang out with John. He's like, "Oh, dude, like you're the local ripper on the lake. Like, I own Fox. Like me and my family own Fox. Let's get you on some flow here." So got on flow with them. Started, just doing stuff with Fox there, and it actually turned into a really cool relationship, like really good friends with John and a bunch of the Fox guys and Todd. Like, I still talk to John all the time. He was the officiator at my wedding with me and my wife.
Oh, sick.
So yeah, he's one of the boys, like one of the homies. Turned into like this really cool relationship where we're good friends now. But yeah, it's kind of, one door closed and another one opened. Didn't really know what to do after O'Neill. Was kind of feeling pretty bummed about it. I thought I was in a good spot in my career doing all the right moves. And then, got that
out of your control.
Yeah. And then for Fox to come around, like, they're obviously like huge in wake. They had all the top guys. It was never anything that I ever like thought I would be on the Fox team, because they had all the big dogs. Like, that wasn't me. That wasn't what I was thinking, but it started this really cool chapter for like the West Coast guys. Cause then once, I got on, I was with them for a year, and then Grant Roberts, at the time wake skater, got on. One of my good friends, I rode with Grant. I lived with him for a few years on the Delta. And then Josh Twelker got on. So it just kind of like evolved into this thing, like, all right, sweet, now all the boys are on here.
Got a little family going on.
We got our NorCal crew. And then like they used us to test board short materials. Like, I would go into the office, like grab a bunch of materials, work with like R&D and like, test all these things and stuff. So, kind of became, a part where I was like, all right, I'm a good use of this company, like good friends with the owners and, the team manager here. And then like we were hosting some of the Fox shoots in Morgan Hill after that, because they knew I was in town and all the different resources. So
sick.
Yeah, kind of evolved into some cool things. So.
Yeah, good time for sure. All right, so I'm curious on, I don't know if this is fast forwarding too much, but like there's a moment when, pro riders go from getting paid and it's a pro wakeboard career or whatever sport it is, and then it starts changing in terms of like, all right, this isn't going on forever. Like, I'm not going to get paid to ride my wakeboard for the rest of my life. Is there a specific moment in your career where you kind of realize that was happening, and maybe now I'm going to start shifting into coaching or whatever you do next? Like, do you remember that?
I started coaching just to keep myself on the water, right? You got to pay for wakeboarding, and I was like, well, what can I do here too? Stay on the water. So it's like, well, I'm going to open up some wakeboard schools. I'm going to be able to be on the boat and, continue that to support this, because obviously sponsors come and go. Like, they were never consistent for me on that end. I was never the person really picked to be on a team. I would be like, hey, I would like to ride your product. Let me show you what I can do. I'm going to work myself into a paycheck here. I've done that through, even with Liquid Force, it was like, all right, I'm working with the local rep here. I'm obviously pro, but I'm getting my boards from a local rep. I'm talking to the guys at Surf Expo, showing them what I can do. Like, all right, if you guys want me to stay on, I've put my time in for this amount of time. I need this amount of dollars to do this. And, but yeah, I guess on the tail end of it, thinking like, oh, this isn't going to last forever. You know, I was with Liquid Force. I was with Follow kind of at the end, and then MB Boats. So I was working with MB Boats, which we had the sickest team ever. Like,
Yeah.
like so good. Was, you know,
What, you, Randall, Trevor, Josh at the end there?
Yeah.
Oh,
And Mike
fuck
Bells,
yeah.
Mike Sweeney.
Oh, yeah, Mike Bells, actually. Yeah, that's pretty sick.
Yeah. Like, and then it's like Trever and Rodrigo filming. So it's like our crew that we're with anyways.
Man, that's like a dream come true.
You know, we're getting to basically run their photo shoots for them. Like, Dustin from MB was like, you know, very trusting. Like he came on most of the shoots, but at the end he was like, boys, you got it. Like, you're good. Like, rent the houseboat, do your thing.
Amazing.
I'll stop in and pop in for a night for dinner. And then like, you know, I'm out. But, you know, there wasn't any like
Full trust.
Yeah. Full trust, full direction. Like, everyone had, you know, really strong and needed roles to be there for that, because everybody knew what they were doing. But like, you know, we're basically running their marketing department and all that. So, but yeah, I ran with those guys for a while. There was never any paycheck with MB, but they were given a boat, which is great. And then, Liquid Force was like, oh, you know, at some point, like, oh, we can't pay you anymore. Okay, that one's done. I ended up, I rode for Never Summer for a little bit.
I was going to ask about, how are the Never Summer boards?
Dude, they're really fun.
Were they really? Because Jimmy rode those boards.
Yeah, me and Jimmy were on it. Like, Jimmy had a little more part in it than I did. I was like, all right, these guys, I'm going to give them a chance. The owner, I'm blanking on his name right now, but I met him a long time ago. He used to run like Joe wakeboards. So I've known the guy for a long time. I'm like, hey, let me try this. Like, let me see what I can do. I was trying to do the same thing where I get on a board, prove my worth, and let's see what we can do and where we can take this. That obviously didn't last long with the company, and just the way they spent their money. They made boards. They, in my opinion, ran too many ads and then didn't have anything to show for it. So
I didn't even know they ran that many ads, like in mags and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they ran them for a few years there.
Yeah. Interesting. But the boards weren't bad?
Boards are great. Oh. Yeah, they were pressed. They ran, they were super good. I felt like they held their life for a long time. They were really fun to ride.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay, so anyways, go back and kind of, your Liquid Force is done. You're on MB, kind of getting to the Never Summer thing, Follow, but like it's...
Yeah, then I guess Follow was kind of the last one there. There was a transition period where Follow was like expanding. Steve from Follow was like, hey, like, I need some help running the team. Will you be the team manager? I'm like, okay, sweet. Like, am I still on the team, or like, how's this working? Like, yeah, you're still on the team. So I was kind of running, from both ends there, doing the team manager part, and then like having a rider paycheck. And then COVID came around on that one. Everyone got a little tight-lipped on it, or cinched up, and they're like, oh, we can't be spending all this money or we're going to go under. And at that point I was like, all right, I am going to, I guess, fire myself from the wakeboard team, drop the budget down some, and like try and keep everyone happy as much as I can here. So that was my last wakeboard paycheck.
Yeah.
Was that one there. And then I was team manager for like 2 more years after that. And then we just kind of parted ways after that. So.
Okay. So then what does that turn into? Because like, what do you start doing? Because I know you mentioned I've been doing the coaching and camps and all that stuff, but like what's the next progression of that after all the wakeboard sponsors are gone, but you're still involved in wakeboarding? So like,
so 2 years ago now, I was like, well, I need to figure out something. Started doing wakeboard lessons here in Orlando. I kind of put it out there as basically beginner lessons, come on the boat, do whatever you want. It doesn't necessarily have to be wakeboarding.
Sure.
Like, come out, have a good time on the water. Could be anyone. It's a lot of tourism type stuff. There are definitely some local people that come out and, find my website, check out my Google reviews, and come check it out. Orlando Mobile Water Sports is.
There you go. We'll put the link below, obviously.
Yeah, right here.
Oh, you think I can edit that? I'll toss it in. Yeah. What was it? Orlando Mobile Water Sports?
Yeah.
Sick. All right.
Yeah, so we probably do close to like 600 people a year that come out on the water and come out and check it out and have a good time.
Damn.
Yep.
Big time.
Yeah. So, yeah.
I'll get you some stickers if you want to hand them out to some of the people. Like that'd be super
Yeah.
hype.
Throw them on there.
Sick. Okay, so is that like the gig now? That's what you're doing?
Yeah.
Damn.
So I got going. So
And what kind of boat are you taking them out on?
I got my O2 X-Star.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's so
Dude,
sick.
It does the trick. It gets people on the water. If you're new to wakeboarding, you don't need anything else, right? You don't need a massive wake. You don't need something that's going to intimidate you out there.
Yeah.
It's beginner friendly and whatever you guys want to do on the boat. You want a water ski, you want a kneeboard, you want a wakeboard, you want a foil, got all that. We got, the free boards, the kneeboard thing, rope hooks into it. It just kind of pulls you up until you want to do tubing. You want to just float on the boat and you want to go fishing.
Stay in the water, whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
Who cares?
Come out, have fun.
Yeah. So did
We'll show
people
you
just
a
pull
good
up to your house and that's like kind of, you run out of your house, you got like a camper
I
or
do
something?
some out of my house, not a ton, and then I try to go to other lakes as well.
Mobile, I guess is the kind of the whole word there. Okay.
And then the other part of it, which I do some, is I work with some of the junior men's and up and coming junior riders and try and perfect their kind of style and my take on that. I've always been really good at like seeing what you do on a wakeboard and be like, hey, you can do this trick, you can do this, like put those together, or like you're here, this thing's really fun. I can see you've never tried it or thought about that. Or even like going through their contest runs of like, going through this run, you're coming up as a wakeboarder, you have your 8-trick run you're trying to do, like, let me help you piece that together to where it flows better. And like a lot of it's like adding in grabs that you didn't think of, or like, let's put these things together. So yeah, I'd like to do a little bit more of that. I've got some things I've been talking about kind of in the works for a little bit with some other pro riders where I'm like, I'd like to spend a day on the lake with you guys, like basically myself be the video game controller, tell you what to do, put these combinations together and things that I think you could do on a board that would look really rad, things that would be beneficial to you as a rider, and some tricks that are like within your run of what I'm already watching you do on a wakeboard. Like, oh, you could add these few things here.
Yeah, another set of eyeballs on it.
Yeah.
That's like educated eyeballs.
Yeah. And then like film the whole thing, like, get BT to come out, film the process of it. Like, do some stuff like that of like, and then kind of like market that out. Like, and then maybe even pick up like, 5, 6, 7 people and just be like, all right, you guys are on this kind of exclusive type team of, I'm going to be coaching you and you're going to be getting these pointers. We'll work on some things and I can come out on your boat. You're on your boat, your wake, you're used to that there. And let's see what we can do with it.
Damn. I like that. That's cool. Damn. So you're doing some numbers though through the Orlando Mobile.
Yeah. It definitely has highs and low seasons. Obviously seasonal sport and people come and go, but we get random tourists in from all over, and as well, where they're like, oh, cool, like we're from up north and it's freezing there and it's January, but I want to go wakeboard.
Yeah.
Cool.
So would you say summer is way busier than winter, or is it just kind of totally sporadic?
It is, but even last year, like through Christmas and like different breaks, like I was slammed last
Spring
Christmas.
break is probably pretty big
but
too,
even Christmas last year, it was just like, all right, like I guess I'm pulling a bunch of people on the boat because they're in town for holiday.
Sick. That's super cool. All right, let's talk your setup now. So you still ride. So what board, boots, bindings, what are you riding in? Everything.
Okay, I'm on Finn Bullock's board. When I started the camps back up, I actually called Don at Liquid and I'm like, hey, like, what's up? I'd love to like get some gear from you guys. You guys have helped me out in the past. Like, we parted ways, whatever. Not a big deal. Yeah. It was never a big deal. But you think I could get some stuff out? And he's like, hey, just send me your wish list. I was like, yeah, even if it's like last year's gear, year before, stuff you have sitting in the warehouse.
Just
like,
stuff.
Just stuff. Like it doesn't need to be the newest, nicest stuff. I'll send you a list. Let me know what you can do with it. I'll pay for costs. That'd be great. Like, thanks, Don. He just shipped 2 pallets of gear, just showed up on my doorstep a few weeks later. He's just like, you're good. And I'm like, dude, you guys are awesome. Yeah. So we're running all liquid stuff there. Like, I think it helps. It gets people's eyes on the gear. Like, so within that, I was like, hey, he's like, what setup do you want? And I'm like, oh, I want to try Finn's board. I like the shape of that thing. Looks cool. So it's a few years old. It's like that pink board that he's got.
Yeah. Was it the one with the middle finger, or is the blue one with the middle finger?
Which is hilarious, just because like everyone was always, or Liquid Graphics in general have never had any sort of like edgy type thing. And it's like, oh, the one board I get, it's like bright pink with the middle finger.
You like how it rides though?
It rides great.
Yeah.
Sick. Super fun, super light.
And what boots you got? Stance angle?
I'm running some Ronix boots right now that were actually BP's boots. From BP had a wakeboard that he was trying to make for a minute. He was trying to make a wakeboard company.
BP Brenton Priestley?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you got his Ronix boots.
Okay. So they were pretty clapped out. He was over them. They were the board.
They're just right for you then.
They're Mossy's boots that he gave to Brenton. They were on the board. I rode the board for a year. Actually had some clips and scum line on that board.
Okay.
And yeah, they were just the boots I had.
Okay. And then what stance angle are you rocking in width?
I think nines on both ways.
Nothing crazy.
Like one out. Yeah,
okay.
Not all the way.
And then rope length, boat speed, all that jazz.
It just kind of depends on the boat. Like if I go ride with someone on a bigger wake and I'm just like, all right, what are you guys riding? Like everybody these days, like 75, right? Something.
Yeah. 25, 22 or 22.
Yeah. Just like do that. Like I'll hit the wake a few times and figure it out. I just run kind of fundy sets behind my like old X-Star, like whatever weight's in the boat. I'll add some weight every once in a while, but it's like, all right, if I'm gonna ride a big wake, I'll go ride a big wake. Like these are just messing around and getting carbs.
The thing is what it's used for, which is the old ones. Not. I mean, you're not gonna sack out your X-Star to try and get to the biggest wake you can.
I mean,
there's
no
to it.
Yeah,
G.
I can. I got all the fat sacks there. If I want to spend 30 minutes filling them,
sink that thing down
with my one broken pump.
You got a favorite wrap handle you've ever used?
Not necessarily the favorite wrap handle. The length was always like important to me, of like how far
away from the handle it is.
Yeah. And for a while there, I actually had two small handles on my handle, because I was running. It was right when I got on follow. I was running Chris O's rope, so this was right after going to Mexico for the first time. I think my handle even broke on the trip. So I was like running Chris O's handle, but it was like super long. So I felt like I was like way out here for where my position was. So I put a smaller, LF had like a twist on wrap handle.
Yeah.
So I like tied a knot like 5 inches up, and then I put that on the handle. So I had two handles on the thing. And then I was actually messing around with both of them. Like backside wrap tricks kind of felt better, like with a longer length. And then I would do for front side, like the shorter one.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it was more like the length. It wasn't necessarily like the handle. And then it was always just the T-bar, not like the triangle thing.
The triangle thing's kind of weird, yeah.
Yeah, I never liked that. It was just too much material.
Yeah, and it's kind of distracting when you're like looking at that footage, I think.
Yeah, I've ran it before, and I think I'm back and hit you. It hurts.
Get this thing out of here. Oh, man. All right. I mean, I don't have a whole lot else here. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap this up? I mean, there's obviously a ton we could talk about.
Yeah, there's something, but I don't know.
Anything come to mind? You got a rod story? Any rod story come to mind?
Gosh, man.
Putting you back on the spot.
I really want one.
Sometimes maybe there's too many. It's just flooding your brain.
There's so many just so funny ones. Like there's been times where we'll just like, something will happen, and he's the type of person. You ever get like the giggles where you just can't stop laughing?
Yeah, like moments when you're not supposed to laugh. That exact moment.
Yeah,
like you just can't.
Yeah, and then it just continues to keep going. There's been like multiple ones of those where it's like with Rod and me, and just something happens, and we're just like dying laughing. And then, like, his laugh is so infectious that it just, like, continues my laugh. One of the stories, we're just, like, I think we were done wakeboarding for the morning. We're driving, I think it was, like, McDonald's or something, the local drive-through. And we're, like, grabbing our food. We pull up to the thing. And the lady's like, oh, she just like, oh, here's your food. And you go, here you go. And she just goes, and I just look at Rod, and we're in the drive-through. I'm just like, oh my gosh, did that just happen? And so we just pulled over, like got our food, and we just like sat in the car and laughed for like 15 minutes straight because it was just so ridiculous. But there's been so many things over the years, and just like it's always good times with Rod.
Always.
Right? So,
Yeah, it definitely infectious laughter. That is for sure how I describe that.
yeah.
What about Adam Fields? Because you said you lived with Adam Fields
yeah.
for a while. Any notable stories or memories with Adam Fields ripping?
Man, he is an incredible wakeboarder, right? Like, he was always so good. I rode with him a few different times. Just I would take a trip to Florida during the winter, just to go wakeboard and meeting different people. I met Travis Propes, I think, maybe on one of the up and coming trips, or just through Garrett coming out. Rode with him, so I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna come out to Florida, I'll come stay with you." He was on Centurion at the time. We went over, rode with Adam, who was on Lake Brantley, I want to say, and yeah, so in Orlando here, he was staying down at his house for the winter. So met him there, and I was just like blown away at how good he was at wakeboarding, because his style of wakeboarding was nothing like mine, but we just clicked on and off the water, and his like infectious vibes and like amp about wakeboarding was like really cool to be around, right? So the next year I was like, okay, I'm going to move to Florida for the winter. I called Adam up. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, I'm going to move down here. Like, he was running camps out of his house. I was like, do you think I could rent a room and like room with you for like 3 months while I come down there? And he's like, all right, sick. So kind of strange, actually. Like, oh, I've only hung out with you like twice before ever. Can I come move in with you?
Yeah.
Right. But that was like a really cool winter coming down here. The gas prices were stupid cheap. Like, it was like less than $1 a gallon at that point. Jeez. It was like, I don't know what year it was, like 2009 or something. Like, it just got crazy, like cheap. So like, we'd go to the gas station, we'd fill up all the gas cans. It's like $100 or something. We're just like, what? Like, so it's just like me and him wakeboarding a bunch, traveling around Orlando, like doing all these different shoots. But yeah, one thing that was always impressive, he was like obviously still competing high level at the time. He was like 5th on tour, 5th in the world rankings, like incredibly good. He would start every set off with a back 7, like front mo 5, like Pete 5, just like send it straight off the bat. Like, I get up on the boat, I like take a lap up and down the lake, like carving and doing ollies and, messing around with triple up whips and just different things. And so total opposites in the riding stance, but like, it was really cool just to like vibe with him on all that. And just good times there for sure.
That's sick. Yeah. Adam's fucking good at wakeboarding. Like, I was a huge fan of his when I was a kid, and it was like, I liked him because he wasn't like one of those super big name pros, but he was so good. And I was just like, I don't know. There's all these web videos I used to watch of him riding and hanging out and stuff.
Incredible. Like, so talented, so like on that. And then like, I guess he didn't necessarily push like the technical side on me a bunch, but I feel like me living with him like pushed a style sense on him to be like, you gotta like grab your stuff on this things, and it carried over. And he was like, in hindsight, we've talked about it a few times, he's like, hey, and that was really cool. Like, like I've never been one to like, I was just thinking about rotations and handle passes and landing and getting to the next trick, where it's like, now I'm grabbing this trick here and doing it, and like I can take a set where I just cruise and do grabs and do these things, where before, if I took a set like that, it wouldn't feel like wakeboarding to me.
That's so fascinating.
Yeah.
A yin and a yang, very different, but like still comes together and it works. It's super cool.
It was super fun. Like, what a fun year to do that winter. I mean, I met my wife that year, like moving into his house and going on his friends' boats and all that. So it's just like kind of pretty cool.
That's a big winner.
Yeah,
I would say.
Yeah, for sure.
For sure. All right. I mean, before we wrap this up, is there anything you want to touch on, or anybody you want to thank before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, my family, my wife and my kids, like my wife has always supported me through all the wakeboarding stuff and helping me figure out different avenues here, and just always in my corner on that. My parents and family, all the different sponsors throughout the year, like they obviously come and go, and some are awesome, some are thankful for, and some are good that they're gone. But yeah, and just all the other friends and homies that have driven the boats over the year. Like I guess another part of it is, man, a bunch of my friends from Morgan Hill, like growing up, wakeboarding with them, like I would go out and wakeboard during the winter time. They're on the boat just driving and needing like a third on the boat so we don't get in trouble for not like obeying the law. Just all those people coming out, like, and then those guys, like, man, I was so strict and so picky on like the line I wanted to run on the boat and being like, you know, I'm like, go this way, drive the double up. We're going this way, like go this way. So like, man, I turned my friends into professional boat drivers.
There you go.
Like they could sit in a pro tour boat to the day and drive it perfectly fine and like tee up double ups for everyone. And they'd be like, man, what? Like,
who's this guy?
Yeah.
Derek Cook coached him up.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Anybody else want to thank or anything before we ran through some there? It was good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks for coming
everyone
on,
that's been a part of the rad. So
absolutely. That was a blast having you on. Thanks
I
for
appreciate it.
Thanks for coming over. Glad we made this happen. That was a solid one. I was expecting it to be. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the podcast. If you guys are interested in seeing who the guests are early, make sure to join the Patreon. Other than that, we'll see you guys next time.